month of June, last day pretty much of this month. Hello there, thank you very much for staying with us here on 3FM 92.7. We're coming to you live from our studios here on the John Hammond Street. And this morning, we know that many of you in the capital are not waking up to a normal day, waking up to the aftermath of what was one of the most difficult days in recent Ghanaian memory. And yes, although the rain has stopped, but for many families, we know that the storm continues. Today is a day of counting, right? You're counting the things that were lost, looking at homes that were damaged, looking at businesses built through years of sacrifice, now struggling. And for some of the families, you're facing the pain of having lost loved ones. There are moments like these in life when everything can change within hours. Yesterday's rains reminded us of how fragile, very fragile, life can be. But it also reminded us of something else, the strength of the human spirit. Because although the storms came and it destroyed a lot of the things that we built, it's not destroyed the courage it took to have persons step in and offer support and hope in some of the areas. There's a story of a farmer whose crops were destroyed by a heavy storm one time, and when his neighbors came to comfort him, they expected him to give up. But the next morning, they found him planting again. They asked him, after everything you've lost, why are you starting again? He replied simply that the storm may have taken the harvest, but did not take the ability to plant. And maybe today, that's where I want to pivot to. To all of us who may have lost property, may we find the strength to rebuild. To those mourning loved ones, may we find comfort and peace. And to all of us, may we remember that in difficult moments like these, humanity becomes our greatest shelter. And so the neighbor who needs help, the neighbor who is helping, the stranger who is showing kindness, the community that is standing together this morning, we say God bless you. Because recovery is not only about rebuilding houses and businesses, it is also about rebuilding hope. And yesterday was a powerful reminder of the force of nature. Today, however, let us show the power of compassion. The rain has left damage behind, but it has not taken away our ability to rise again. And may our courage help us, and everyone affected, may they find courage again. That's my message this morning as we get into newspapers as well. And for a number of you, I'm going to share as well quickly what the Ghana Meteorological Agency says we can expect in terms of a forecast this morning. Already, they've suggested that the rains will ease between today and tomorrow, and there are likelihoods it will intensify again. And today we're going to spend the rest of the day going through everything that happened yesterday, because the ramifications and the effects are bound to be felt from across different sectors this morning. But the Ghana Meteorological Agency says that mostly cloudy conditions will dominate over most areas within the country, with mist and fog forming over the coast, forests and hilly areas in the early hours of this morning. However, few places within the coastal sector are expected to experience slight to moderate rains or thunderstorms. Breaks of sun are anticipated over most areas as the day progresses, paving way for thunderstorms with rain over the coast, middle and northern sectors from the afternoon to the evening hours. And so that's our weather. One more great music, kind Ketsu DJ Phil, after which we'll return to you here and get you into the newspapers.
3FM Sunrise.
I was in
of inarguably in the last 10 years, right? Worst recorded flood, because 11 years ago we recorded one of the worst. 140 plus individuals, 130 plus individuals suffered. And we had promised and told ourselves, never again. Never again. Swore all the swearings there is to swear, made all the statements that ought to be made, and yet it's not like between then and yesterday we weren't experiencing the flood, so we were. That's the addition. That's the bit that makes it even more troubling and concerning. If it were after June 3 in 2015, we didn't experience floods until yesterday, we can say, oh, never again, until we saw it again yesterday. And in our case, never again, but we've been seeing it every other year. Patrice Amegashi, Noble Crosby, Annan. Good morning to you, gentlemen. Trust that all is well.
Everything is beautiful. Everything is good. I mean, yeah, the day after is always beautiful. It's always beautiful.
I'm not sure it will be same for a number of folks
for a number of people, yes.
Who are
for
listening.
A number of people, yes.
It will certainly not be beautiful. It will be one of pain and concern. But
yeah. But you mentioned it, that like how many years ago these things happened, and we thought we're not going to repeat the same story. But here we are, talking about the same thing. So you know what I talk about? It's like, so who is responsible? Somebody would say you are not supposed to be dealing with who is responsible. You have to deal with who is responsible for all these things. Now look at the places that were flooded or got flooded after yesterday's rains. Areas that you never would have imagined could even hold a cup of water. Yesterday flooded so heavily and so seriously and so terribly. And this goes to the bottom of what I keep mentioning about the MMDCs and their offices and what they are supposed to be doing in such offices. So we elect somebody, we nominate somebody, we put somebody, appoint somebody, and put them in that position that has so many other offices under them, including the works department and then physical planning departments. What is the role of the works department? What is the role of the physical planning departments? They are supposed to take care of all these things, including spatial planning and proper engineering of roads. Wherever anybody decides to live, the first place you go to after you have had your architectural design and so on is to present it to the assemblies that I want to develop this area. They would tell you whether the place is habitable or not. So my point is, let us stop going back and forth. So president gets on the, was it a jet or a helicopter or something, just moving around, checking all these things. I'm not saying he need not do it, but it is appropriate for him to do it as the leader of the country. But these things are long overdue. We need not have reached this stage in 2026. Why? I keep saying 3 people cause these problems: the rich, the educated, and people in political office. The rich people, the educated people, and those in political office.
I think
why say so?
I think you finish. I think I'll add one more.
You add one more.
The ordinary Ghanaian.
Oh,
as well.
no, not the ordinary Ghanaian.
Because
the ordinary Ghanaian.
And when we begin to roll the videos, perhaps you'll understand my bit as well.
Throw away the ordinary Ghanaian. The ordinary Ghanaian is not responsible one bit with regards to this. Like I tell you, it is the rich, the educated, and those in political office. So tell me, who has got so much money to be able to buy land?
Wetland, state it as it is. Wetland.
Who has got so much money to do that? Because you have to, yes, you have the rich guy, you have to fill up the place, you have to do so many things. Who comes to ensure that when you build here, it has structural integrity? It's the educated person, the engineer. You get it? And then who allows the person to construct? It is the assembly, so the person in political authority. So my point is this: need we go back to when these things started, let's say 10 years ago, when we were, as the word is used, woke, that these things ought not to happen again. So if we realize that in the last 10 years, people in political offices, as in MMDCs, gave out permits for houses, structures to be constructed within waterways, in waterways, blocking waterways, on waterways. Do you and I have to waste our time on air to come and tell whoever the authority is, the supervising authority is, that go and arrest this person or prosecute that person? Walk into the assemblies, whoever appended his or her signature to that permit for the person to build in a waterway must come and answer to Ghanaians. Because now you're going to waste everybody's time, waste taxpayers' monies. Why am I saying so? NADMO is going to go into full force. What do they need? They need food for people who have been displaced. They need shelter for people who have been displaced, people who are famished and all those things. NADMO is going to do, and you think NADMO is just there as an institution that only doles out things freely? No. So let us wake up. Let us wake up. By this time, all the assemblies in areas where floods occurred should come and answer. You are talking about the Odo River. Odo River, some years ago, we were having this problem, and then it was expanded, dredged, and so on and so forth, so that water would flow easily and freely. Who monitors this? This one. So what is the essence of the task force of the assembly?
3FM.
You go through the Odona area. You go through what's the name, Adabraka, and you realize where people have established shops, automobile workshops, very close to it, very, very close to Odo River. So, and we have a lot of squatters there. Where do they dump their refuse? Where do they defecate? Where do they put all the waste that they generate?
You see why I said, after all of the educated persons, you come back to some activity of the ordinary Ghanaian.
No, some activity, I would agree. But my point is that could be eliminated.
I know.
If the authority, the political authority, did not allow people that space. So here we are. You are seated over there. I've not been allowed the authority to come and sit where you are seated. You guys say there's a structure here. When I walk into 3FM. I don't go to any other place. I don't go to TV3. I don't go to any other place. On FM, I don't go anywhere. I just walk in here because I am mandated to come here. So my point is this: that authority should have a task force that will restrict people from getting closer to the water body. So let's talk about Wager. Same thing. Let's talk about Dansoman, Ham Down. If you know Dansoman ran so well, the Dansoman roundabout, the first roundabout, when you make a right turn, it goes to a place they call Ham. That place is supposed to extend all the way to Pambros. So we had a salt lake salt lake over there. It was a marshy area, still marshy, and nobody had to construct anything there. Go to that place today. They have pushed and filled and lifted and done a lot of things to that salt lake. And now, when it rains heavily as it did yesterday, the people
3FM 92.7.
And you expect me to come and commiserate with them, empathize with them, sympathize with them because of what? You knew the place. So who at the what's the name, Ablekuma West, gave the authority to the people to build at those places? This is very easy for you to go through the books and say that in 2024 it was Crosby. He gave out 20 permits. In 2025 it was Mawuena. He gave out 72 permits. So bring them to book. It's just we are tired. We can't be talking about these things every now and then. Anytime it rains, we come and talk. Anytime this happens, there was fire here, there was this there. What precautionary measures have we put in place? For me, that is the concern. Let's not talk about it. So, the minister of what's the name, local government, he should show up. The minister of local government should show up so clearly. including whoever has the national security, because we have security threats as well.
Right. I will come. These are preliminary comments.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into a bit more in terms of this. Crosby, you managed to make it here yesterday as well. I'm just going to pick preliminary. Yeah, he managed to make it. I'm just going to take preliminary comments from you as well, because this is a review segment, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to review a number of developments that have been happening. Then we begin to get into the conversations proper, and try possibly to get a bit more as well. We will speak to a number of municipal chief executives, possibly. To appreciate, because I think in the Lejokuku area, for instance, a bridge has collapsed.
Oh, wow.
Homes were flooded, vehicles were swept away, one person lost their life as well. Wow. I woke up to see that this morning. In fact, I was trying to make my way through that bridge, and I was told the bridge had been closed.
Oh, wow.
Not closed, but it's collapsed. So Crosby, let me come to you, because the minister has been apologizing. We are really sorry. That's Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak. It's on my John, yes, it's my johnline.com. And
I mean, who is he apologizing to?
Ghanaians. To Ghanaians. They could have done more, but they're working all throughout the night. They've been working all throughout the night.
I don't want to listen to what he's saying. My first worry this morning is from the presidency. And yesterday, I'm sure most of you heard the statement from the president. Read the
I'm gonna get into all of that.
And that is what.
Perhaps you want me to use that as an emphasis.
Right. I mean, he's the first gentleman of the land, and if this is what he has to say after a major flood like this, when I saw it, I couldn't even finish reading it. It just it made me angry.
Okay.
That. Mr. President, this is the best you could do in a situation like this. Everybody in Ghana is hailing you. You are enjoying goodwill, and this is how you want to spend it. You tell us exactly what the president said, and if you didn't hear, you can make sense. You'll understand why what the president said is some way.
An aerial tour of Accra to inspect the flooded areas. Unfortunately, the flooding has been very extensive today for several reasons. One, the recorded rainfall today is one of the highest in several years. The Meteo are looking at approximately 140 millimeters that was dumped on Accra. Last year, the maximum rainfall was 56 on a single day, and so the volumes are much higher. And so there are many issues to the flooding in Accra. There's climate. If you look at the rainfall pattern from 2024, 2025, 2026, you see that increasingly every year we're getting more rain in Accra than we used to get. GMET say that in 2024, for a period of 30 days in June, we had 85 millimeters of rain. And then in 2025, it increased to 172. And then in 2026, for the same 30-day period in June, it increased to 333. And so the waterways are not getting a chance to recover before more rain is dumped. And the wet days are more. Out of 30 days, 22 days, it kept raining. And so there were only 7 dry days or 8 dry days in June. And so that's the climate side. That is an act of God that we can't control. But then there's also the engineering and the man-made causes. That is, like I said before, Accra is built between 2 natural bodies, the Kwapim Mountain Range and the Atlantic Ocean. And before Accra was built, the streams used to flow through this plain to reach the sea. Now, the British brought the capital to Accra, and in those years it was not a problem because Accra was a very small city. But as the population continues to increase and people continue to build, it restricts the path of the streams on their way to the Atlantic. So that's an engineering problem. We need to see how to open the channel so that the water can pass. But then there's also the other aspect, which is attitudinal and human behavior. that is dumping garbage in the drains, putting all kinds of items in the drains after we finish creating waste. Instead of sending it to the appropriate place, even in the air, we discovered many illicit dumping sites where the wetlands are. People have gone to create a waste dumping ground, and they charge 20 cedis for the Abubuya to come and fill the waste into the wetlands. And when it has filled sufficiently, they sell the land to people to come and build on it. And so we need to, one, look at it from an engineering perspective in terms of how we can open up the channels, but at the same time, look at how we can identify all the buildings that are obstructing the waterways. We've said this many times. I'm tired of hearing it. But anytime you begin to take action and you start breaking houses, people think that government is inhumane. But when the problem arises like this flood, it affects everybody. And so all of us have been affected because of the conduct of a few people blocking the channels and preventing the water from passing. And so we'll call a National Security Council meeting. We're asking every district to identify, together with the Works and Housing Ministry, where the blockages in the channels are as they pass through the district assemblies, so that we can earmark those places for removal. We'll not only break the houses, we have to move the rubble out of the way, because there's no use breaking a house and leaving the rubble in the waterway. It's just the same as leaving the house. And so it's going to be quite a major issue in order to resolve the problem of Accra. But ultimately, the other solution will be to decongest Accra. And that's why we're planning that we move some of the city out, that is the major government departments, and then also create a new center of growth so that our people will start building outside Accra in a new city, instead of everybody looking for some space in Accra to build. So, but that's a long-term solution. Like I said, it's a 20-year project. They are still working on the designs. Once they do that, we'll demarcate. People can start buying plots. If they like, they can start building houses. We'll do the roads, bring the water and electricity, so that it eases the pressure on Accra as a city. But I just want to express my sympathy with people who have lost property. Loss of property has been very extensive, and I want to thank the military, NADMO, the police, and the Hydro, Works and Housing Ministry, and all the emergency response team, 48th Engineers Regiment, for the rescue that they did. I've seen many of the videos where people had to be carried out of their houses. They deployed their boats, and they helped to save quite a lot of lives. NADMO will do what it can to try and identify the victims and see how we can just support them in a way in the next few days. I've asked the Minister of Finance to release some money from the contingency fund so that we can do some post-flood relief for persons who have been affected. And so let me again express my sympathy, but let us change our attitude and let us find a permanent solution to this Accra flooding problem. We shouldn't become like the vulture who, anytime it is raining, he says as soon as it stops raining, he'll repair his roof. And then as soon as it stops raining, he says, oh, it has stopped raining, so there's no need to repair the roof. This time should be different.
That's the President of the Republic, Crosby.
And unfortunately, how he ended the statement is how I'll begin and say that is exactly what we're doing. We're behaving like the vulture that he spoke about. The vulture will say that, I'll prepare my roof when it is raining. And then after the rains, we don't. Who does not know anything what the President has said? Everything the President said, and I grouped it into a few pointers. So number one is that he said the rainfall pattern has increased sharply. We have known this forever. We've been talking about climate change for God knows how long. So we know that it is increasing. He also linking it to the changing rainfall patterns, also very aware of that. And then he said that drains no longer get time to recover. Who does not know this? He blamed it on Accra's natural location too. Okay, fair enough, we know this. And then rapid population growth and unplanned construction. We know this. Human behavior is also amongst the many causes. We know this as well. Now, the concern about enforcement of laws, also very difficult. Don't we know this? We do. And then saying that structures on waterways be removed. This is something that we are also very well aware of. Now, let's look at these things. Increasing rainfall pattern is no longer news. If the president is now saying that rainfall patterns are changing, then the question should be, what is the state doing with that knowledge? What is the state doing with that information? Climate change has been discussed for years. Ghana met, they have their data, they have their predictions. NADMO knows the hotspots, assemblies know the flood-prone communities. Engineers know the limitations in terms of drainage. So why are we still designing, building, and governing Accra as if the rainfall pattern has remained the same? If you know what is going to happen in the future, is it not only wise that you prepare yourself adequately? You're also talking about climate adaptation failure. Again, we know this, so why are we not planning to avert it? Then he spoke about the drainage capacity. Yes, Accra's drainage system is clearly not matching the size and the speed of the city, but drains are not constructed by an act of God. Human beings, engineers will sit and plan, implement, and then go and construct the drains. So if you know that the city is growing, people are coming into the city and all of that, and that the drains we have now, they cannot contain us, is it not only wise that we begin to do the right things? Now, there's also the concern about Accra's geography. So Accra is not sitting in a better place. So what? So because we're not sitting, by nature, we are exposed to these things often. So it means we should throw our hands in the air and say that there's nothing we can do because of where we find ourselves.
3FM.
You are talking about
92.7.
wetlands being filled. They are filled by people, human beings, who are supervised by people, human beings as well. And you are the president of the republic. This should not be a very difficult decision for you to make. You have spoken about the problem nicely, and you know the solutions. It's not as though you are now going to get a team to think about the problem because this is the first time something like this is happening. You are aware the solutions, the blueprint is there. Will it take only money for you to implement them? I don't think so. Yes, money could be a big factor, but there are some that you can implement without looking for the money that we're talking about. So why don't you just go all out, start implementing it, so that next year, yes, 2027, if the rainfall pattern changes, if the quantity or whatever of the rain increases, it means will we come and reiterate these same problems and the solutions we have to find to it, but we'll still not implement them. So it means we are just in a cycle. We know what the problem is. We know what the solutions are. Why are we not implementing the solutions? We have the Ministry of Works and Housing available, various agencies under the ministry. What have they been doing so far? We'll get into the conversation of how much money has been allocated to fight flooding in the city since time immemorial, and we have not seen any impact of the work being done. The situation keeps getting worse. And then for you to go on a tour after what has happened and then come and tell us these same things, I found it very disturbing. Particularly the bit about the rainfall pattern has increased and the rain, then the millimeters, and so what?
3FM.
Right.
92.
So, yes, let me speak to what the president said. On the contrary, though, from Crosby, the preliminary statement the president made, I think, was very significant.
Telling us the increase
telling
in the
us
patterns.
the increase so that people would know that rainfall patterns have changed. The volume that comes in has also increased. Those are factual communications.
But if you tell us, not your name.
Yes. So I said preliminary comments. So that he was laying the background.
Okay, DJ Phil is telling me that I get it, but
Yes.
so whoever does not know that you are now telling this information
Yes.
to, and you are finding your mark on offer some information, offer your day.
Debbie, he was laying the foundation that now rainfall patterns have changed due to climate change.
So therefore,
So now the volumes of water that will be coming in would be much more than ordinary or regular or as we have experienced. This is to say that even in other European countries and America, sometimes the rainfall patterns alters and they also experience these floods. So he's laid down that statement and it's a fact.
Okay.
So at least I was happy he was able to mention that. That means there is knowledge. The president has knowledge.
Exactly. So if we have the knowledge right now, what are we doing with the knowledge?
I'm trying to foam the urine for you.
In 2020, we're in 2026.
Yeah.
In 2025, were we not flooding? In 2024, were we not flooding?
Yes.
In 2023, were we not flooding?
Yes.
So
that
the knowledge
statement in itself is not wrong.
And
he was laying the foundation. So I want the foundation to be laid. So allow me to lay the bed properly.
Oh goodness. So that I'll lie on it.
So now, no, not you. People have certain minds about it. Well, I'm excited. Kay is not hearing this. But this is the point. So the president knows all these things that are happening. I'm happy he mentioned all those things. So everybody's aware of the fact that this is the kind of situation that we find ourselves in. So there may be little or nothing that we can do about the rainfall patterns. But herein comes where we have to play a role. So having all this background information concerning the new rainfall patterns and the climate change and all that, what are we supposed to do as a people? The issues and challenges I had with the president's speech had to do with him mentioning Accra as being now overcrowded and so on and so forth. How could Accra be overcrowded? What happened to the overcrowding of Accra? Have we planned for it? Because if a room is supposed to contain 5 people and you slot in 20 people, you're doing something illegal. So areas that are not supposed to be built ought not be giving the permit to be built. So much as we know a lot of people are thronging, coming to Accra to come and live here, if we do not have plans in place, these people will just walk in anyway, anyhow, build anywhere, anyways, put up illegal structures and obstruct the water patterns. Here we are. So the president says that it is the conduct of a few people who are blocking water channels. I disagree with you, Mr. President. It is not the conduct of a few people. It is the ineptitude of those you have put in positions of authority at the assemblies who are not working effectively and efficiently to ensure that these things do not happen. So it's not the conduct of a few people, Mr. President. That one, I disagree absolutely.
92.7.
Because the point is that nobody will come and put a kiosk in front of the Flagstaff House. Nobody would. Why? Because they see clearly that that is not a space where they can occupy. So mine is that if you don't create a space for somebody to do some of these things, nobody's going to wake up and come and do it.
Right.
Or even if you put things in place to check all those things, which is the role of the assembly, nobody would do it. The president says that we're going to I have a few things. Just allow me. There's a 20-year project.
Yes, I have somebody on the line in terms of getting updates as to the aftermath. Right?
Oh, the aftermath. Okay, no problem. I can hold on.
You can defer just briefly for me because
no problem,
that's all we're talking today, and so there will be a lot of time for us to get into it. But joining me on the phone line this morning is Assistant Commissioner of Police, ACP Alexander Kwekuobe. He's Director of Education, Research and Training at the Motor Transport and Traffic Directorate, MTTD. They will help with traffic management this morning as well. ACB, good morning to you. Today I got the designation correct because I spoke to you yesterday. I trust that all is well.
Yes, no, you got it correct, except the department. The department is Motor Traffic and Transport.
Okay, so I switched it. I did the motor transport. So it's motor.
You are forgiven.
Rightly so. So.
No matter what, there's TT there. So
yes.
Motor Traffic and Transport.
And transport. I will assimilate that quickly.
That's news for us.
Great. ACP, it's the morning after yesterday. In terms of our roads and traffic situation, what is the updates that you have? What's deployments like this morning to help deal with difficulties, one in terms of vehicles being readily available, and then the morning rush with some roads closed? I know there are a number of areas where bridges have been destroyed as well, and all of that.
Oh, thank you very much, and good morning. I think if you look at the how torrential and sustained and how long it rained yesterday, and given the limited storm drains, that also was narrowed by human activity and behavior, leading to flow over, spillover with deluge and mud, debris, boulders, among others, spreading over many parts, sometimes blocking bridges and causing inundation of certain stretches of the roads that we are using. It impeded and threatened a lot of lives. However, with the cessation so far, many of our roads are recovered, and few areas that seem to overwhelm a pool of water, and in such sections where traffic police officers on motorbikes are positioned to assist oncoming traffic. Having said that, there are certain sections of the road, particularly the one between where we have Malam Market all the way down to Amafrom area, Tuba, that requires the engineer to, as always, engineer comes back with equipment so that they bring dumpers, they bring excavators, and they scoop the mud, the debris, so around SCT stretch, among other places. The mud, among others, are such that so you continue to move out the sand among that are mixed with other debris to allow motorists to have access to the, as I've said yesterday, the submerged road to use. And if some of the roads too have been battered and have been exposed much with potholes and all that, it's beyond these that the engineer will go with the contractor to patch and all that. However, commuters are moving gradually. It is just that we continue to advise. As far as traffic police is concerned, our routine deployments have been done, like yesterday. We are at all the strategic junctions and know that we're rolling traffic lights where it needs to be and assisting motorists and then pedestrians. And so our advice will continue that in times like this, it's required that you don't have much to do within the city. You must as well remain and support yourself elsewhere. Otherwise, if it's critical, and you will come. And if you are a motorist or driver, make sure the vehicle is well maintained. It's very critical. And that you are not in a hurry. Such that it's not about speeding. It's about keeping to the lane that has been directed for you to access. And you move at moderate speed, keep your lane. And avoid overtaking on the verges, because some of the verges are gutters that are covered with mud. If you attempt, you may fall into a gutter. If you attempt, you may get stuck. If you attempt, you may get rolled over because debris might have been pushed from the side of the road onto the road and you may flip over. So these are among other areas that we are focusing on. We are using much of our presence to guide. There are also many sections of the road that this morning are free to use, particularly the road from the N6 from Mama Saman all the way down to Kwame Nkrumah Circle. The pools are receded and the roads are free for commuters to use. Let's know that much of the challenges we had to do with the N1 crossing at certain sections and then the Ring Road West and Ring Road from Kwame Nkrumah Circle all the way down to mostly to the Lavender Hill, and then of course the N1 section from.
Right. So you're telling us that from Amasam, the N6, that is Amasaman to be specific, the road there's a challenge, and so if commuters can avoid stepping out, they should. The N1 as well, you're mentioning specific portions which are not in such great shape, and you will advise commuters or road users to find alternatives too.
I said that the N6 from Amasaman to Circle is all right. That's the opportunity to use commuters and usual road users are currently moving up and down.
So it's free to travel.
That is critical, that requires attention and self-compliance and avoidance. If there's no need, it's not essential to embark on such trips. Has to do with the section of the road from Malam all the way to Kasuma.
Right.
The sections are very bad, and there are a lot of mud that were pushed onto the road.
Right.
We need your attention for just 1 minute, sir. Do you have some hotlines or particular lines that people can call in case they are traveling through certain parts and there's no police officer there and perhaps there's traffic congestion? Do you have some particular lines?
First of all, we have put it out yesterday together with NADMO. That 112 is a hotline in case of any emergency service that anybody requires. 112 is a national hotline for emergencies like this.
Do you have motorbikes? Do you have motorbikes also strutting these roads so that they can move from one point to the other easily, and then if they are using walkie-talkie so they can communicate with each other?
That is exactly what I said earlier, that in certain areas there are traffic police officers on their usual motorbikes are assisting us very much, and are specifically located with equipped. And on our set, communication is constant and we are situated off places, except that it takes also the road user to be informed, so that if there's no need to embark on certain trips, because after this, they calls for reinstatement, and reinstatement requires that the engineer will deploy equipment
right.
to go and certain instances to scoop,
right.
clear the area
right.
of debris so you can have routine traffic.
All right, ACP, finally from you, are there any roads that should be avoided this morning as a result of what happened yesterday based on your men being on the ground? And then final word of caution as well as we wrap up the conversation.
First of all, the critical area that requires much of our attention. And as I said, that if you don't have much to do, otherwise the traffic will be such high. Is between Amanfo and then, of course, to the old barrier at SCC. It's a very critical area for us, and we are there, but it's to require that whoever is coming will have to have time with the traffic officers
right.
and then the engineer, because we need to create more access, because there's contraflow that we are using to manage. Having said that, there are other areas that require self-compliance, and therefore using speed, using local knowledge, and sharing information with other road users as we move forward. I know that in Accra, there are also many roads that are already
right.
with potholes
right.
and with all that. So we require that internally, locally, drivers should also
exercise a bit of caution as well.
Caution and patience and tolerance.
All right, ACP, I appreciate you joining us this morning on the Kaswa SEC road, which is a huge problem in terms of movement, and the gridlock is expected to be intense. Right. Along that stretch, all other areas traffic is moving freely, and he says 112 if there's a need for we're going to try and connect to the fire service as well, because they were neck deep in terms of the rescue efforts and dealing with fires, with fires and all of that late into the night. We need updates on that as well, and NADMO, because there were rescues. There were rescues that were being done yesterday as well. But back to you on your point whilst we work the phone lines in.
I think so long as the narrative is changed, I'll just go accordingly. I may come back to what we were discussing much earlier. So let's talk about the SEC,
the Kaswa
road
stretch.
You see, that is why it makes me want to ask the question if we really have engineers, qualified engineers at our assemblies. Because it is just common for anybody to know that the debris from the hill is what comes down onto the main road. And this happens every now and again whenever it rains. What are we supposed to do? Aren't we just supposed to create a buffer? Tar the roads so that we don't have the debris coming from the top all the way down. Isn't it as simple as that? Where are the drains? So you would ask yourself, in the construction of the road, what was put in place to ensure that such things do not occur? And even if we had difficulty in doing it, what were the engineering mechanisms that we had to put in place to ensure that debris doesn't come all the way from the top onto the road? When it gets on the road, that is where drivers would want to dodge. And then they drive on the other side of the road and come into, contact with the other people driving on the opposite side of the road. This is very simple. Anytime you notice that a lot of sand collects on the road, which traps water, then there's a potential of a pothole developing at that spot. And it develops so much so that it creates a very huge crevice that road needs to be, forgone, not thought about. It happened at the Dansoman Junction, all the way to Kaneshi First Light. If you remember, it got to a point, nobody was using that part of the road. Nobody.
The outer lane.
Yeah, the outer lane. Yeah. Nobody was using it because of... And for me, I'm like... So, let me go back. In 2017, Honorable Atachia told us that we needed $700 million to deal with the drainage in Accra.
That money has been upped to around $5 billion.
In 2020, he told us they had received $200 million from World Bank to work on the drainage in Ghana. And then at that point, he made reference to the fact that in 2013, under John Dramani Mahama, they got over 700 million or so from the World Bank to deal with the drainage in Ghana. They got the money, according to him, according to Honorable Atachia, the NDC then got that money, but then they misused it and didn't use it for the drains. So between 700, 300 that they got, what did we use the monies for? I would read for you to understand what he said. And this is Honorable Atachia. He says, government has secured $200 million loan to fix drainage problems in Accra. It says that the Honorable Minister for Works and Housing, Mr. Samuel Atachia, has told Parliament, that NPP government, led by President Akufo-Addo, has secured a World Bank loan of $200 million. $200 million, yes, to fix drainage challenges in the Greater Accra region. He explained that the drainage network, which consists of a gravity system, if mainly opened, and earth and concrete line channels. It will open earth and concrete line channels. Now, Mr. Atachia further said, some covered sections in the Central Business District and along certain commercial routes, and it has been indicated in the project documents. It has been indicated in the project documents. Mr. Atachia further said that some covered sections in the... No, I have read that. He says that he outlined areas that would be benefiting. So listen to the areas. The areas include Circle, Lower Nima, Odona, Kokomemle, Tesano, ECG Aveno, Mukase, Circle Times.
These are the major drains.
Yes, South Industrial Area, Macro House, Lower Audome, Aboso Kain, Kaneshi, Takrady Station, Dakuman, Agbogloshi Station, Mataheko, Kaneshi, Osu, Castle Road, and Accra Conference Center. So you see, I am deliberately mentioning these because he says that the $200 million that they had received from the World Bank was supposed to have dealt with these areas.
It didn't, obviously.
So my question is that, where did all these monies go? Where did all these monies go? He said that under President John Dramani Mahama in 2013, a loan of $593 million was also secured to do the same work, but that the NDC squandered that money.
So we're seeing...
So 500, 200, that means 700 million that he claimed we needed to ameliorate the situation. Thank you.
You see?
So we have received the $700 million but we have squandered it. So these same people will turn around and come and cry to us as if there is nothing. So this is reference. It was captured on TV3. It was captured. The report. It's on TV3. So this is what it is. So we have received the 700 million. I remember vividly when he was being interviewed. It was being what's the name of that thing they do? Vetted. That's what he said. 700 million. And I was like, hey, is he really? So we have had that money. So guys, what I'm telling you is that those people we have put in political authority, look, there is nothing they seem to be doing for you and I.
Oh, but the president says we still need money we're finding money to fix this.
So those loans will be paid by you and I. We'll pay them back because they are loans from the World Bank. We'll pay them back. So that is what those in political office always think about us. Oh, let's take the money, let's use it. After 2 years, 3 years, when we leave power, somebody else will come in. We use taxpayers' money to pay. Then we have been taken for a fool. I have proven to Ghanaians that we have received the $700 million US that Honorable Atachi said we needed to sort out the drain matters in Accra. And all the areas that I've mentioned are the areas that are still suffering. So where do we go from here? Mr. President was talking about what, relocating the capital or developing a new place and talking about people constructing houses. The problem is not about people constructing houses to live there. It's about the spatial planning, the structured areas that you tell people that go up high, 20 floors, 30 floors, 60 floors. Don't build in this waterway. It is common sense that when you, let's say, for example, Smith Flats, go to Adenta Smith Flats, check the kilometers of road that all those people within the community have. Now, when you put up a story building, let's say 10 floors, so now Village is trying to put up something 23 floors. If 23 floors, and let's say we have 5 families on each floor, and each floor has 1, 2, 3, 4 areas, so that's 20 people on one floor. By 23, multiply. That's about, we're talking about 460 people. Is it 460 or 4,600 people? Look at where that single structure is.
I mean, proper use of land,
yes,
right?
Look at the road network in front of it. It is less than 100 meters. Less than 100 meters. So now when ECG wants to fire the place with a lot of power, what do? They only erect one pole and they distribute it to everybody in that building. Ghana Water would only have one source and then they distribute it to everybody in that building. But when we allow people to do 2-bedroom, semi-detached, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, this same 5,000 people that are supposed to be in one building, everybody will have a pool in front of their house. Everybody will have one pool, and then cable. And then everybody, when it's water, they'll connect the meter here. The same meter will go from one person to the other. We are not thinking. We are not thinking. In 2001, Honorable Kwame Battles said that one of the things that was lacking is that we were always building horizontally instead of building vertically. I remember so vividly. And I thought that was the wisest thing to do. Because when you travel outside this country, you call a friend and you tell, oh, Charlie, I'm on the 60th floor, I'm on the 80th floor, I'm on the 40th floor. Why can't we do it here?
3FM 92.7.
So that's here on the 3FM Sunrise. Crosby, you're going to come in.
Yes. I like to. I don't want to say. Okay, let me explain a few things here. That when the president speaks about the problem that we have and he shares the knowledge he has of the problem, it's not that we're saying the president does not understand the problem. The president understands the problem. That's good. The facts that that's good. Yeah. The concern is that, so the president understands it, Ghana understands the problem too well, yet the same disaster keeps repeating.
Because they take the money and chop them.
And that is where the frustration is coming from.
They take the money and chop it, yeah.
So it's not like we expect the president to snap his fingers and fix decades of poor planning overnight. That's not what we expect him to do. But once the problem has been correctly diagnosed,
yes,
is it not right for what should follow to be solution?
The president is not ready to crack the whip.
And what I also want to say is that the president did not just diagnose the problem. The problem has been there since. He has been president before.
Yeah.
As well as other presidents. They have all known the problem. They have all known the solution to the problem. So my problem is that you know the solution. Exactly. You know the solution to this problem.
Yeah.
But you come and tell us again what the solutions are. If you know the solution to 1 + 1 is 2, and you have a question, 1 + 1 is equal to dash, should you not just write 2 there? That's my own.
Yes. So I understand you perfectly. So I understand you.
Just do what you have to do to solve the problem. If it is an emergent problem,
there's a 20-year project.
We can understand that this is something that
relocation of the capital.
I'm gonna cut the both of you. I'll share my thoughts on this, but I'm gonna go to Alex Kinnati, ADU1 Alex Kinnati, with the fire service, joining us this morning. ADU, thank you very much for joining us this morning here on the 3FM Sunrise. It's the morning after what has been a very difficult day for personnel, and I'm going to use this platform as well to say great job done yesterday. The fire service was stretched very thin yesterday in terms of attending to distress calls in different areas. But Edio, you are live on air, please.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Yes. So I was saying a huge congratulations to yourself and the men who have been up all night, all throughout the day as well yesterday, helping to deal with the issues. But talk to us. It's the morning after. Are we done in terms of rescue efforts, and have we been able to move all persons out of harm's way at this time?
So thank you very much. As at this morning, all the distress calls we've received so far, we've been able to attend to all of them. We've rescued in total in excess of about 150 to 200 people so far. Unfortunately, we recorded a few deaths. The number might be more than what I might give out, which is 12. But then, hopefully from this morning, we are hoping that reported numbers can be.
Yes, Eddie, I'm listening to you.
Yes, so as I was saying, there were about 12. Unfortunately, about 12 people lost their lives. We suspect the number might be more, but for now, that's the number we are going with. And hopefully this morning, there might be some. Hopefully later this morning, I'm sure some bodies might emerge, and we should be able to get a confirmed number. But as of now, rescue efforts are still underway.
Rescue efforts are still underway in which areas, if we can?
No, so what I mean is that we are on standby for any rescue call. Our men are still at Odona. After dousing the fire at Odona, we are still there being on standby in case of emergencies. Also, our officers, yesterday around 11 p.m., we attended to a building collapse where we're able to help get 13 people rescued to safety. And so we are still on standby, and our emergency numbers are fully active in order to help and respond to people in distress.
Absolutely. I was going to come to that building collapse because I saw videos of it on social media. I wasn't quite sure which specific area it was because these days you can't be too sure as to whether it's an old video being shared and what have you. In which area are we talking about this building collapse? And is it attributable as well to the rains yesterday?
Exactly. It happened at Tabora, and we suspect it might be as a result of the rain. So I'll be joining you in the studio. I'm at TV3 Big Issues. So from here, I'll be joining you. Sure.
That's fine. That's fine. So I'll then have you join me pretty shortly. So ADO1 is on the compound, and so he'll join us. He'll join us in studio for a conversation. Proper, I didn't know he was on the compound as well.
Okay, that's
so that we get a bit more. And so that's that. In terms of, we'll get a bit more from him as well, and then Nadmo as well.
It begs a lot of questions.
Yes, then the municipal chief executive as well. Kunzo, Lejokuku to be specific. I'll need him as well on the phone lines this morning to help provide. Today was centering on persons who can play a role, less on the politicians and all of that, and are asking questions about that. Crosby, you were on the floor before I had to get
the last point I want to make is just a logical deduction to make. So the assemblies, Mr. Megashi, they have a reporting authority.
Yeah.
So the thinking is that it will be the Ministry for Local Government.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The other agencies or institutions that should work to reduce the occurrence of flooding or the impact of flooding also report to a certain agency through a certain ministry who are appointed, whose heads, the ministers are appointed by the president. So how do people say the buck stops?
The buck stops with
it stops with
the minister
who reports to
the president.
So if the minister is not performing,
in fact, the chief of staff.
if the minister is not performing, it comes back to the president.
Comes back to the president.
That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much for establishing that.
Right.
And you see, The point is that, look, in all these things, when it happens, we call who? We call NADMO, we call fire service, we call the police and all that. My simple question is that back then they used to call it a certain department which was within the assembly. It had to do with building something. They call them, the name is changed, but they had to ensure that when you are building, you either build what's the name? 2-story, 3-story, 4-story, and that's spatial planning kind of thing.
Land use and spatial planning.
Thank you.
There's an agency like that.
So this is what I want to draw our minds to. So when all these structures are being put in place, do we speak to the fire service? You get it? Because when disasters happen, we call on them. Now, how do they
3FM
traverse all these areas and get to a point where somebody needs some help? You get it? These are the simple things. So, for example, at my place, Gulf City, you would have to drive 2 kilometers
before you see a fire station.
Thank you. Not a fire station. Really? That would have been very great. Before you make a turn onto the main road. So if there is somebody's in distress, at a point, you have to, because a certain company has erected a wall, a fence wall, all the way for 2 kilometers. I'm talking about Zone Datek. So we don't consult fire service.
Right.
We don't consult NADBO. We don't consult all these people. And then when these things happen, we tend to blame fire service and blame NADBO.
Today you can't blame them much, right? Even though we ask questions of NADMO, I mean, we've been asking questions of NADMO as to preparations, but Israel Ajete Ochwenma is the municipal chief executive. Is it the metropolitan? It's municipal chief executive
we'll just find out from
of Lejo Kuku, is joining us on the phone lines as well this morning. Honorable,
happy to speak to you.
Good morning to you. I trust that all is well with you.
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners.
And
it has not been easy. We've been on the elevator since 3 days now. And I just came home this dawn.
Wow.
Oh, you must be very tired.
So I appreciate you joining us as well. In terms of your municipality as well, which areas have been hit hard by the floods? Where have you been visiting to get a sense as to what's been happening?
Okay, so we share boundaries with Ladadekutupon and Crow. So at that around Bush Road, Chado area, we share boundaries, and so that area was affected where the ICTC church telephone pole area around the same area was also affected.
Right.
Penny Egbeta was affected. Greater Estate as usual was also affected. Teshinwa Estate was also affected. So it wasn't easy yesterday. In fact, I just listened to some of the issues being raised. Just as you know, we just came to office. Some of the issues are issues that are existing issues, of which we are all trying to see how best we tackle. We will plead. Yesterday it was devastating. We just plead with authorities, especially the hydrological authority, to now or going forward. No, we should see how we wreck our culverts, the bigger ones, because most of the culverts, if you check, has chambers in them. So when it rains and it pull out big trees or uproots big trees, it just starts at the chambers and it blocks all the other debris that comes in, hence affecting or the water finding its way into people's homes. So it's a major problem. It's a big problem, which we all need to holistically tackle going forward.
Honorable, fair and square, but on the start point of being new to office, Honorable, it's been 1 year, right?
Yeah, we've been doing our best. In fact, last year,
in hearing you speak, you mentioned a number of areas. Is it Greater Estates, for instance? Chado is not within his catchment area.
It's not within, but we share boundaries.
You share boundaries.
With
Greater Estates, you mentioned floods as usual, and Teshinungwa, and you're referencing the need for hydrological authority. I'll come to that, and then we'll discuss what can be done for persons who've been affected within your locality. Penny Station, behind it, I understand the bridge there has collapsed as well. Persons' homes have been flooded. In all of these areas, what are the immediate support systems going to the people first? Then we will come to have the conversation as to what should have been done and all of that. Have you accessed all of those areas? Have people been rescued? Are people being provided shelter and some other things for now to weather the storm, because we are being told there's a bit more rain expected?
Yeah, we've done that. In fact, I want to use this medium to thank some of the churches around New Creation and other churches around the Penny and Pizan area. We've moved some of the people from their various homes to some hotels around that, safe havens around other places. So we've taken those steps. We've taken stock of whatever has happened, and today we'll be in office with the NATMO team to see how best we can extend some relief items to other
right. So relief items are going to the people today.
Yes.
And
after we're doing our because we came this dawn, so we need to go to office this morning to finalize everything.
Right. Honorable, let's talk what has been done within your area. There's a storm drain which obviously it got swept, it overflowed its banks and what have you. In terms of the concrete steps that you've taken since you assumed office to help deal with the floods, because in all of the conversations, even the Greater Accra Regional Minister has been saying MCs, municipalities, DCs and what have you, you play a critical role in helping deal with the floods this year. What have you done? What did you do within your catchment area to help mitigate the situation?
In fact, there was serious and extensive dredging exercise this year. Last year and this year have been very much. In fact, we have a lot of streams and rivers in Lejokoku. We have the Core River, we have the Napla, we have the Tango, we have the Olakai, and now for about 6 of them. So it has not been
so six rivers.
Yes, and it stretches all along from each route through to the sea. So we've been dredging along all those rivers.
Do we have buildings? Do we have buildings on these rivers in some areas?
Yes.
Do we have buildings on these rivers?
Yes, we have buildings on these rivers, and NATMO from headquarters have come to assess them.
No, I'm not asking about whether they've been affected. Honorable, I'm asking if there are buildings on the rivers which are blocking the waterway.
Honorable, I think Mawuena is being too magnanimous with you. Honorable, how long have you known that there are buildings blocking the waterways? How long have you known, and what steps have you taken?
There are buildings along the said stretch, the river bank. In fact, we've taken steps. We've gone round to mark it and make sure very soon we'll be clearing all those
very soon.
Honorable.
Honorable, how it will come back, because I was building
We've done some demolitions already, in
which areas have you done the demolition, and what have you been waiting for to continue with the exercise?
Around the bush road, we've done the demolitions there. We'll be doing other demolitions around Fresh Junction and the Teshinungwa Estate.
Do you have an idea of all the buildings that are sitting on waterway? Do you know the number of buildings that are sitting on the 6 waterways or rivers you are talking about?
For now.
Do you know all of the buildings?
Yes, I know all of the buildings.
How long have you known about these buildings sitting on the waterways? Because
since I came to office, we've had briefings with the technical team, with the physical planners, and there are areas even that have not been issued permits over the years, but people have found ways because it's within the mangrove area, so permit has not been issued, but people have found their way into it, of which some have been demolished and others are yet to be demolished.
Are you aware of the president's directive somewhere last year, repeated this year as well, that all buildings on waterways are to make way to allow for an ease in terms of the rainwaters and the floodwaters? You are aware of that as well?
I'm aware of that, and we've started some. The president directive, we've started.
What is preventing you from continuing? What has prevented? Because you mentioned you've been in office for 1 year.
Yesterday we continued some. Yesterday we did some demolition, and it will continue as and when we get to that area.
Which area? Because you said you've done some.
Yesterday we demolished a building along the river banks at the Napla river banks at what do you call it? ICDC gate opposite the ICDC gate on the Bush Road.
Right, and you are continuing to remove.
We'll be continuing.
When today, or when? Because the rains are still coming.
We'll be doing assessment. Yesterday we did some, so this morning we'll be doing assessment again, and we'll continue with it from today onwards.
So the expectation is that buildings will make way for water today, and there'll be machines going to clear them.
Yes.
Let me come to the subject of buildings without permits within your locality. Yes, granted, you did not know about it, or you were not in office before then. Have you had a meeting with the resident engineers, persons responsible for permits, persons within your locality who are supposed to go out and be monitoring projects of such a nature, and what have they told you after going around monitoring?
Okay, so the physical planners and the engineers, just as you mentioned, have started. They've briefed me on most of the issues. In fact, this is a collective responsibility for all of us. The chiefs and our traditional authorities are also involved, and we've had several meetings with them for some of the issues, selling of lands at unapproved places, and people not coming to the assembly for permit, building on weekends and building in the night and other things. Sometimes affect our dealings with these permits.
But your men go and see the buildings when the buildings are being put up.
Yes, sometimes our men. Can you imagine someone building within in 3 days, in 1 week?
They build in 3 days, in 1 week.
I'm telling you.
Honorable, that is highly impossible for somebody to put a full building in 3 days.
Sometimes within 1 week, a building is up.
Honorable, you are mandated by your bylaws to pull down any building.
Yes, we've been pulling.
You didn't give permit.
We've been pulling.
Honorable, who gives the permit? Is it the assembly that gives the permit? Have you been able to identify anybody within your office who has given permit to somebody to build in a waterway? And what steps have you taken to sanction that person?
In fact, people have been sanctioned through transfers and other things. So we've been pulling down buildings when they have no permit. And sometimes there are recalcitrant ones that moves with blankets and other things. Always my people are in trouble and be beaten, my staff and other things being beaten around. So sometimes it's difficult. But we are trying our best to ensure that the right things are done. So we'll continue to pull down buildings. We'll continue to collaborate and work with our physical planners and other bodies to ensure that the right things are done within the local municipality.
Honorable, the assurance you are given is not entirely convincing. I will be very honest.
I am on the ground, so find time and come and see what you.
Oh, Honorable, I live in your municipality. Okay. So if you say I should find time and come, I can find time and come because I'm in your municipality.
Come, let's move around.
You understand? But also, also, I have a job to do. That's why I'm here.
Honorable,
That's why I'm also
seriously.
speaking to you to get an understanding as to the situation. But just finally from me, because I have to make way for sports as well. Mutala is here. We'll continue the conversation, and and we'll pick it up from there. On permits and land sales and what have you. I've heard you mention you need to have a conversation with chiefs, your persons.
We've done that. We've been having those conversations with them.
And your people are coming under attack and what have you. But you're in charge of security in the area, right? What is preventing an arrangement for security persons to go with you to ensure these buildings are not put up?
We do. But sometimes, in Lejokuku here, even when we need more personnel, most of the personnel here are all women. We've written to the IDP, we've taken to the Interior Ministry, and the people who came recently are all women. 5 were posted here, 3 are women, one male. So sometimes it's difficult, but we've been doing our best in collaboration with them and the military as well. So we are on course. Right. I think going forward we'll do more, and you will see that things will be changing.
Honorable. Sure. I will leave it here. I will reach out. I'm sure you have a friend in 3FM, and so I will call.
Yes,
we'll
call
in as often as possible, and we'll get a bit more in terms of details. But I appreciate you for making time to speak to us. I'll send a message afterwards as well and engage subsequently. But thank you very much for speaking to us. That's Israel Ochwenma. He is Ochwenma. Great. Ochwenma is a municipal chief executive for Lejokuku, and we'll get a bit more from him subsequently. But Honorable, thank you very much for joining us here on the show. We're not done with the subject matter, right? Because when we return after sport and a few breaks, we will get into other aspects of the conversation. There's lots of videos, there are lots of thoughts, lots of opinions, lots of persons to speak to, questions about the hydrology department, right? Because they've hydrological departments. Thank you very much, Frederick. They are central, because he had the Honorable mention him and say our culverts and our drains and what have you. Yesterday I went onto their websites. After June 23, they had met the Deputy Minister for Works and Housing and were discussing how to mitigate floods. 6 days later, the entirety of the capital was submerged, a huge part of it. And so there are questions as to their mandates, what they've been doing, where they are, even as we talk, other ramifications in counting the cost and what this has done to the Ghanaian economy. But we'll get into sports for you right now.
Got everything you need.
Yakubu is here. You know, I told him something about his name, and
you know, be serious. You know the funny thing. This is somebody that has known me since 2014. This is somebody I've worked with. I mean, we started the radio journey together. He was.
I don't know why he's going on a rant.
No. He was the morning show host. I was the head of sports, so I come in every morning just like this. I mean, it started just.
So you speak into the microphone.
It started just like this.
Speak into the microphone.
I'm speaking into the microphone.
You are not. When you turn your head, you are not.
It started just like this in school. He hosts the morning show. I come in, I do sports, we chit chat like this. This person has been calling me by my government name, Mutara Yakubu, for the last God knows how. Just when I got to TV3, he decided to change my name. Now he decided to say Mutala Muhammad. I was like, but you know me from 2014 that you do this radio thing for school. We started radio in school. I don't know where he got that from. Just when I got to TV3.
Mutala Yakubu.
Yeah.
You're welcome into the studios.
Yeah, I think Egbeta. It was Mawuena Egbeta. Did I get it right?
Are you for real right now? The World Cup is on. There's been quite some exciting games from yesterday.
The Morocco boys have been stubborn.
Huge knockouts as well. Huge knockouts. The Morocco boys, 1
a.m. They took on Netherlands. I mean, those Morocco guys, we need to give them their flowers.
Was it you who was here? And I was telling you that I expected Morocco to beat the Netherlands.
Yeah, I remember you said that. I was a bit doubtful.
I said Japan will pose a threat,
and they did.
But we expect Brazil to win. I think all of my bar South Africa, right? Who I was hopeful they will win. Every other of the predictions at least.
Just around 2 a.m. when we were watching the game.
Was that live on TV3 as well?
No, it wasn't live on TV3. I was watching at home, and I told somebody that, hey, Charlie, this Moroccan team, them for post some. It looks like they are a big threat to the other nations because toe to toe, trust me, against Netherlands, you wouldn't see which team is the European team and which team is the African team. I mean, Morocco, the players they have now are not your typical African players. Raheem Diaz started his football doctrine with Real Madrid. Hakimi is like a Spanish right back. If Hakimi had decided to play for Spain, he would have been the first choice right back.
Yeah, the starting right back.
He would have been the first choice right back. Saibari currently is one of the best forwards in Africa. That is why Bayern Munich signed him for £55 million. Even with Hurricane, they should tell you the quality that he has. It was toe to toe. They never gave the Netherlands
I regret not watching that game. In fact, I was actually going to, and I was like, I had been on air for like close to 7 hours.
I mean, even some of the Dutch fans on social media are giving credit to Verbruggen, their goalkeeper, for making some fantastic saves in the game. It's like Morocco plays without fear. They are the only African nation in this tournament that plays without fear. They wouldn't sit back and defend and wait for you to power pressure on them. They are coming at you because they know they have the quality. So they are coming at you. So I'm not surprised, and I feel the round of 16 game that they are going to play against Canada, they will go past Canada.
Oh, but they will beat Canada.
That is what I feel. I feel Morocco are in the quarterfinals already.
They will beat Canada.
Unless something miraculous happens.
You see, in the knockout phases, the fairy tale stories mostly come to an end. If you are not grounded in terms of quality,
of course, it will expose you.
All of this.
So
knockout.
You want to say if your fundamentals are weak,
you'll be exposed.
Oh, okay.
In fact, monitor. I think was it the Euros or something? Some of the minnows had made it into the round of 16. By the quarterfinals,
they were all gone.
The World Cup stage happened.
This morning I woke up to a lot of messages. People are surprised that Germany have been knocked down. I told them that I was in Germany when they played Ghana in the friendly. I was at the stadium.
Yeah.
I was with a couple of German journalists. We were all at the media stand. And when the game was ongoing, they were like, this is even a weaker Ghana side. It says a lot about the team we have now. And I came back and told Bill and Oreku when we were having the show in there. I told them that the game I saw at that Stuttgart Stadium in Germany, witnessing the game live, I can tell you Germans are not even confident going into this World Cup. Even though they beat Curaçao 7, you saw the performance they put
In fact, I was going to mention what saved them in that Curaçao game was the water break.
Of course, that hydration break. It actually broke the momentum that Curaçao
absolutely
had. That is why their coach, the advocate, got a bit angry that this water break is killing momentum. Because just when you want
because they equalized. And they were on the front foot. And the Germans did not immediately have a response. There and then I knew that, no, this is not the German machine we've known since time.
Yesterday after the Brazil game, Casemiro made a statement that it was equally important for them to get the equalizer around the 56th minute mark, which is far from the water break. Because sometimes if you gather momentum and the hydration break comes in, it kills that momentum. Players go back to the coaches, re-strategize, coaches tell them what to do and all that. So it usually becomes a bit difficult after that stage. So it was important Brazil got that 56th minute equalizer. From there, it looks like, okay, it was all going to be Brazil. But Germany, I am not surprised. They've not put up a good show, even against Ivory Coast, where they won by 2 goals.
They were lackluster.
It was individual brilliance from Dennis Undav, who came and scored those 2 goals. Ivory Coast could have easily won, but for Adingra,
our very own Adingra
touching the ball, gifting that fair touch, I mean, they would have easily won the game. So I am not surprised they are out. Yesterday, they felt they were hard done by because they thought they had scored a second goal, which was disallowed. Jurgen Klopp has made some statements this morning saying that if that goal is disallowed, it means that Arsenal will not have won the Premier League.
Well,
because they scored similar goals to that. But Germany just didn't have the quality. I mean, to downgrade from a midfield that had Michael Ballack, Schweinsteiger, Frings, that had the likes of Toni Kroos. Toni Kroos maybe perhaps was part of the last generation to fade out.
Who failed to make it out of the group stages on
since they won
successive World
the
Cups,
tournament in 2014.
They failed to
Germany
make it out of the group stages.
The last 3 editions have totally disappointed. They've not had it easy at all.
Winners.
I mean, 2018 they went out of the group stage. 2022 they didn't go group. No, 2022 they qualified out of their group. Then they went out. Then 2026 they also qualified out of their group. But this team, it wasn't going anywhere. Trust me, it wasn't going. And some players have failed to deliver. Like Florian Wirtz, who had a bad season with Liverpool. I was expecting him to have a bigger tournament. And most importantly, Jamal Musiala. I'm disappointed in him.
He was returning from an injury.
So I thought,
and so his deployment.
This was the opportunity for him to relaunch himself and tell us, yeah, the Jamal Musiala we know is back. To have a German team where, do you know the team that their left back Brown plays for? Most people do not know. Most people don't know the team that these German players play for. I mean, 2026, you are playing Pascal Grobe in midfield. You have a problem. So Julian Nagelsmann should know. He did a press conference just 2 days ago. He was very feisty with his words, saying that when people are criticizing the team too much, they should just wait for the team and see how far they can go.
Knocked out.
And they've been knocked out. I am not surprised at all.
No surprises for me as well, because even in terms of shootouts, the German machine is very efficient when it comes to shootouts.
Yeah.
And they missed a number of penalties.
I mean, the shootout was funny. It's one of the crazy shootouts that I've seen. Since 2015, when Ghana played Ivory Coast in the AFCON final, where Ivory Coast missed twice. We scored the first 2, but still went on to lose. I have not seen a crazy shootout like yesterday before. Just when you think it's over, then someone comes and misses.
Well, the Netherlands one too was very interesting.
Of course, it was same.
I caught glimpses of it.
Yeah, it was same as well. I mean, Germany are great with penalties, but Netherlands, they are the team to have lost on penalties the most in the World Cup. Almost every year they go to the World Cup.
Penalties is what actually knocks them out.
2020, I think, since
they were knocked out.
2014.
Penalties.
Since 2014, they've always been knocked out
at the quarters
through penalties since 2014. 2010 they won the tournament. 2010 they got to the final against Spain, lost by 1-0. But since 2014 they've lost on penalty. But this Netherlands team, big 2026, who frame Memphis Depay. Botafogo in Brazil, and you are calling Memphis Depay. I mean, there's a general downgrade
in quality,
drop and downgrade in quality.
No, I think football generally, if we're being honest,
okay,
bar France, and to a stretch Spain, to a stretch, and I say to a stretch Spain. There's a general
drop in quality.
Or maybe we can say Portugal, right? Portugal seemingly have some good talent.
They still have some good talent.
There is considerable drop in quality.
And you know one man who is very worried about that? Arsene Wenger. He feels that the kind of football doctrine we are giving academy players now, if a player like Messi pops up in the academy, you better say there be football, break and pass, Now
It's
we
too
don't
robotic.
have
The
ballers,
natural
what we call
flares.
if Ronaldinho
It's
had popped up in this
missing.
time, if Ronaldinho had popped up,
Robotic like Saka.
we would tell Ronaldinho to get the ball and pass. Football is a team game and all. So we are losing that touch of flair. Even Brazil,
Skimmers
check the
and-
Brazil team.
yeah.
Do you call it samba?
No, that's why.
No,
that's why I
apart from
told you.
Vinicius Junior, who likes to do the flick and trick, would you call it samba football?
That's why I told
So
you
people
that.
are even saying Brazil is losing their identity as well, and it's a general. It's not just Brazil. It's a general concern.
The drop in quality is very startling.
Yeah.
Across, because now when people are in search of number nines,
Number 9.
and
You
there
know,
are no
now
number nines.
Now, if you say you're a natural number 10, you wouldn't get
Yeah.
to enter in it.
There are
because
no
now
number
teams are
nines.
playing 4-3-3.
out and out
Out
number
number
10s who are
But the
dictating
out
play
out
and
number 9 you dey
I
talk.
mean,
If you take away Harry Kane,
Haaland.
you take away Lautaro Martinez and a few others, the rest are not so great.
There's a striker deficit the world over.
That's why Fabregas is saying, if not for the fact that he can play as a number 8 in this modern time, as a number 10, he will be lost. Because coaches are deploying 4-3-3. So where are you going to play?
Let's talk Black Stars briefly, and then we'll talk the game we're
We are playing on
expecting
Saturday.
1:30 thereabout.
Yeah.
Recoveries ahead of that game for a number of our players.
That's
What's
not
it
even
looking
the
like?
concern. Government says they are not going to share tickets, and Ghanaian fans are saying there aren't many Ghanaians in Kansas. Most of them are in Bronx. I have not been to America before. I don't know if you've been there. They said most of them are in New Jersey, New York, Bronx, and those.
So Kansas,
areas.
we don't have a
So
lot of
Kansas,
inputs.
most of them are saying they would have to travel across by road like 30 hours. If you want to do a round trip with a flight to, it's around $1,200. And the tickets for the games have been announced. There's tier 1, there's tier 2. Tier 1 is around 1,200. Tier 2 is around 1,100. That is how much you need to pay. Dollars, so it's not cedis. That is how much you need to pay before you can watch Ghana, Colombia. So most of the Ghanaian fans are saying,
So
they are not
it
going.
means we're already underdogs.
Yeah,
but in terms of support base as
yeah.
well.
Just like what happened in our first game against Panama. The stadium was cladded in red. It was just Panamanians in there because most of the Ghanaians didn't get the opportunity to enter the stadium.
Into the
They
stadium.
went there with the hope that they are going to get tickets. And the tickets government procured wasn't even up to 1,000 tickets. So, I mean, most of them are saying they are not going to travel to Kansas because, I mean, the financial burden that comes with it. So we are hoping.
So it's an expensive World Cup.
Very
It's a
expensive.
very
And
expensive World Cup.
we were made known prior to even the draw in the USA. So we are just hoping that a number of Ghanaians who are around Kansas may even make their way to the stadium to support the Black Stars. Because there's one thing I know for sure. The Colombians will come in their numbers. For them, it's a short trip from South America to North America. You know that. So a number of them would be at the stadium. I'm just hoping that they will be there. Also, we've gotten an update on Antoine Semenyo.
Absolutely.
And Ajete as well. Ajete had a knock. But we are being told that JT and Antoine Semenyo are training very well. The team is expected to touch down in Kansas on Wednesday. That is tomorrow. That is when they are expected to be in Kansas. Then they prepare for the game on Saturday. Big one against Colombia. It's not going to come easy. Genuinely, which team did you prefer? Was it Portugal or Colombia?
I preferred Colombia.
Why?
Because it was just a feeling we could have managed to nick a draw or get a result.
Okay.
Right? Against European opposition, we've not been entirely great.
Good.
And so, like I was telling you, history matters in football. It's why when we were speaking about England, I said the history is that we don't lose our second games during World Cup group stage games, and so I'm banking on that we don't lose. So history is important. We've not performed so great against the powerhouses in Europe, and so I would rather take my chances with Colombia than go against history, which is staring at me.
Okay. So I preferred Portugal because I still feel they are not playing as a unit. I still feel they are a bit disjointed. I still feel that they are trying to really find a way of playing to suit Cristiano Ronaldo. And it's really causing a lot of chaos in their team because they are not getting their natural flow. So I wanted us to play them. But you know I wanted to avoid Colombia. They play like us. No, they are robust. Will you say Luis Diaz or Yobroji? Luis Diaz no be Yobroji. Like there's that hunger, there's that desire. You know what I'm talking about. Like that in that robustness in their game. They have that African spirit where also never say die. They will play and they can run for 90 minutes. So the
Colombians are a tough nut to crack. And I actually didn't pay attention to their game until against Portugal.
You saw how
then I started asking, Portugal, can you win this game for us?
You saw
so that we'll meet you instead.
You saw how they dominated that game. But
Should
for
have won.
The toe of the striker, they would have even won the game against Portugal.
Should have.
So I just didn't want us to meet Colombia. But hey, at the World Cup, you need to play big boys, and this is our fate. We need to go out there and still fight again. I'm just hoping the system or the tactics may change a bit, but it's the knockout stage.
If we go front foot, we'll get something out of that game. We have to be resolute at the back, and I'm sure we'll have. Today's Tuesday, right? We'll have a lot of conversations about this. Mutala, thank you very much for coming.
But there's a game today.
Yes.
We'll do live commentary here, 3 FM. Then it will be live on TV3 as well. We have another African nation playing Ivory Coast coming up against Erling Haaland's Norway. The winner of that game would be facing Brazil. So Ivory Coast against Norway is our game live on TV3, 5 p.m.
Who do I see winning this?
Ivory Coast, Norway.
Norway rested all of their players.
Yeah, and Norway are more like dark horses in this tournament.
Yeah.
And with Erling Haaland up front, I wouldn't take anything past them.
Yeah,
he just give him 2 chances.
He will score.
He will score one.
So that's where Ivory Coast, they fluff their chances.
But Ivory Coast, what is helping them is they are playing as a unit. There's that synergy among the players. If they can ride on that, and Adingra will not do his thing.
It's a difficult one, but
Africa. I'm going for Africa.
I think my heart says Africa.
Your head says Norway.
But my head says Norway because Norway may take their chances because of the man in front, whilst Ivory Coast will fluff.
Yeah.
They miss too many chances.
It's very true.
And you see, you have to
go past players and still
take the chance, and then we're good. And so if they can take their chances, Ivory Coast wins this one. Ivory Coast wins this one.
Well, let's see.
Mavado is listening. He says he had wanted us to play. He had wanted us to play Portugal instead of Morocco, instead of Colombia, because Colombia, the way they play the
because
football.
Portugal are not really settled. As it stands, you wouldn't say you want us to play Argentina because
it says they are patapa like us.
That's why I'm telling you that
so,
they have that South American in them.
Yeah. Mutala, thank you very much for joining. I'm just going to announce this pretty quickly. There's a weather warning that is coming from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. They say that a slow-moving rainstorm is sighted at the coast of Benin. It is expected to move westward and induce more cloudy conditions over southern Ghana. The storm is anticipated to produce slight to moderate thunderstorms with rain for part of Volta, Greater Accra, Eastern and Central regions this morning through to the afternoon hours. The storm will trigger rain-bearing clouds and produce thunderstorms or rain over Ashanti, Bono, Ahafo and Western North regions later in the day. So rains are expected as well today. And so,
Mawuena, before I go, why is it that anytime they're announcing that the storm is coming, it's always from Togo, Benin,
so
not from USA,
it propagates
not from
westward.
USA,
Please,
always from Benin, Togo. Why are those rains chasing us?
Thank God. No, let me tell you. Thank God that the storm comes from the westward, because if it comes from the areas you are praying for, we will all drown.
Really?
Have you seen the thunderstorms that hits parts of the US?
Yeah, the hurricanes and all
Please.
that.
So thank God you get the ones that come from Benin. And your failure to plan, failure to deal with persons who build on waterways.
But are there people who are
floods.
still being rescued?
No, as of now, I think we spoke to ADU1. He'll pass by the studio shortly. They aren't. Chado, 105 people were rescued. You let me go for this break. When we return, we'll get into a bit more in terms of conversations. But that's the latest in terms of weather warnings from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. A storm approaching from Benin. And so please be on the lookout for it. If you don't have an umbrella already, get it. If you've been hit by the storm and you're still counting losses, perhaps this will be a good time to try and get to higher grounds because the ground is still wet and so it cannot soak anymore in terms of water as well this morning. a premise for us to get into the conversation. Of course, we have a communications team member of the NDC as well joining us. Then we'll connect notifications on the economy. And even as I've been telling you, there's a bit more rain expected. But here is the member of parliament for Kwale Klote, the Honorable Dr. Senator Rollins. She spoke to my colleague Joseph Armstrong Gold Alogbe yesterday, right? And the point she makes is where I want us to start the conversation from. A lot has been said this morning. In fact, I haven't shared my opinion because yesterday my opinion was on air for a very long time, both here on radio and on TV. But I'll repeat it before I leave again today. Because I refuse to believe there isn't an engineering solution to the problems of floods in Accra. 36 million individuals, over 6 million people in the capital Accra. It is the headquarters of all things government, the headquarters of all things planning and thinking. There cannot be anybody on the face of this earth who will tell me there is no engineering solution, and I will believe. Rather, what we have is an enforcement problem, a lack of will to see things to the end. And then you and I, who say, oh, I buy him, bro, and I'm a boy. Yes, someone was calling us yesterday, was telling us, as it was raining, someone was dumping refuse in the floodwaters. So here is Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rollins speak to Joseph Armstrong Gold Alogbe, and then I come in studio with the rest of the guys for a bit more, and we'll go on the phone lines as well and get a bit more in terms of perspective as well for you.
Yeah, give us more information.
We had the Ghana National Fire Service, the Ghana Police Service, specifically the Marine Police, and then of course the 48 engineers and the fishermen from Osu, who all came together to actually help to rescue the people who were trapped. Unfortunately, we have a fire that's raging in the market, and it's impossible for the fire service to reach the market, the location, because the place is submerged and the fire is just raging on, and that's a big concern at the moment. One of the 48 engineers, they sent one of the boats to the Odona Sahara side to rescue some people. I believe as of 30 minutes ago, they'd rescued about 16 people. And on this side, we've had the fishermen working with the Marine Police. They brought canoes in from the beach to actually help in the rescue efforts. And this is the Municipal Chief Executive, the Honorable Lotegezi, who's been here with his team as well, with the NADMO team. But I think that this is a really important lesson as far as our preparedness is concerned. The fire service are under-resourced, and I believe I'd like to make a call on this occasion for our president to really take a special interest in the Ghana National Fire Service. They are unable at this point in time to address the issue in terms of the fire in the market because they just don't have the necessary equipment.
So if you can also explain to us, we know before this period, both assembly, also members of parliament keep saying that, well, they are preparing dredging places. This outdoor dredging has been, I've spoken with the MC at length already. So let me just finish with you. We've seen a lot of dredging happening within this area, also because of what we experienced some years back. That's a June 3 disaster. Is it a case that we slept on the job this time around?
I think it would be good for you to go and see the places you say are being dredged and see whether the work has been done.
You think not enough dredging has been done?
I think you should go with your cameras and go and ascertain eyewitness accounts. You be the eyewitness and go and ascertain whether the dredging has been done properly. We seem to have an issue where the outflow points are not allowing enough of the volume of water to go down. We're also aware of the fact that some of the I think the areas upstream where you're supposed to have these holding areas where the water is supposed to remain to reduce the deluge that comes downstream.
Going forward, what do you think should be done?
I think we have a framework on what we're supposed to do. There's nothing new that I can add beyond the fact that we need to adhere to the rules and regulations with regards to building, with regards to sanitation, with regards to solid waste management, and with regards to consequence management. If people are breaking the law, they must face the consequences. Because when we allow people to get away with doing what they do, the consequence is people who have not done anything wrong suffer when there's rain and we have flooding. We're having areas in Accra that were not flooding before. So we need to really look at what is going on. And not happen just in one municipality. It has to be all municipalities involved, all district assemblies involved. All the assemblies need to coordinate so that one area isn't working and another area perhaps isn't pulling their weight and one is on the receiving end. We are downstream from many of the other areas. And when there's rain up in the mountains, sometimes we don't even have rain here and we end up being submerged. But this has been rainfall on a level that has been unprecedented. So there have been different factors that have come together to result in what we're seeing today.
Well, some people allege that the rainwaters have carried some people away. From what you see it as an authority, are you able to speak to that?
I cannot confirm any such thing. I have heard some allegations as well with regards to loss of lives, but I cannot confirm.
Well, hopefully...
3FM Sunrise.
As we're talking, we're having this conversation, less of our faces, right? And more of the aftermath, more of what the flood looks like, and more of what we have all contributed to. All of us. Me who sits and watches my neighbor do what is wrong and don't say anything. Me who is building on waterway. Me who is a person working at the municipality receiving money and giving permits for buildings to be put on waterway. Me who is telling people, oh, don't worry, you can build on this wetland, nothing will happen to you, and selling it. Me who is the government, right, supposed to be taking some course of action, refusing to do so, and all of us are to blame one way or the other for what is playing out. And I'm going to come to you again, Patrice, hearing Zaneto as well on these comments. Then I'll come in studio as well. I'll pick Crosby's thoughts and then some of my guests who are in studio as well with me this morning.
Yeah.
My guests who are in studio as well with me this morning.
Yes, again, Zaneto was mentioning issues like Crosby mentioned much earlier. These are things that we know. You get it? Because when you do a recce of a place, for example, as we know, whenever it rains, we have floods. There are particular flash points, and we all know those flash points. So if it is that the estuary or whatever, wherever the water needs to go through into the sea, into the lagoon, or into any river that it goes into, if we know it is blocked, common sense would tell us that we need to widen it up just so that we can have a flow. I can see pictures on your screen right now, and these are pictures that are not alien to us. Look at where all these cars are. I'm sure this is lining up along the Aveno Odo River area. And it has been so since 12 BC. Nobody is thinking, either at the ministry level or at the municipal, metropolitan, district assembly level. Nobody is thinking, my brother. We are not thinking, because if we were thinking, all these things will not be happening. What you do is that you make some of us carry heavy hearts. And people will dislike us because somebody say that someone is in pain and you are talking like this about it. What else do you expect me to do? In the first place, you very well know that where you are stationing your shop, anything at all, your property that you're putting out there, you very well know you're not supposed to do that. However, being recalcitrant as a human being naturally would be, you are doing it. But what about the responsibility of the authority, the one that has oversight responsibility over you? And if we don't do this thing, nobody takes action against them. Like I said, we reduce it to NDC, NPP. When you were in power, you did this. When you were in power, you are now in power, do this. It is sheer nonsense. It is sheer nonsense. So at this point in time, what I believe we ought to be looking at, per what the minister of what's the name, local government should be doing is that at this point, who is in charge here? Who is the MCE here? Who is the DCE here? When did you allow this? Why did you allow this? Look at the Odo River. Look at the cars that are trapped in it. Now, whose monies are going to be used to lift those cars and dump them where? I just saw a video online. I saw a group of garbage going together to an assembly. I don't know where they were going. And I'm like, where did it start? Who dumped this? Who lives close by? Shouldn't it be something that we put into our laws? That nobody lives 100 meters away from any huge drainage or any river or any water body. Look, let me say this. Ghana is a dead country. Ghana is a dead country. And all those who have been with us, so-called politicians, they have never helped us. They are the weakest link in the development process of this country. The so-called politicians, they are the weakest link. People will tell you that, okay, it is the technocrats who are at the ministries and so on and so forth. We bring ministers who are in charge. We call them the state managers. What have they done to these people? The moment you get into office, they start making you certain office. They would give you certain per diems. They'll tell you that, oh, you're supposed to meet this person, or you're supposed to use this money and do that. They co-opt you. So my point is that, what are we doing? What are we doing to this country? So that every year, every season, we come back and we talk about the same thing. Meanwhile, those who have caused these problems are still sitting in office. They are still sitting in office. By now, if it were to be a very responsible country, all the MCEs and DCEs at places where this flood occurred would have resigned. Either they would have resigned or they would have been sacked. And all those who are doing the works engineer, special planning person, they all should be sacked because you haven't done your work well. Because otherwise, where are the reports that you wrote on the fact that we went on a recce? The task force went around and we saw that House A was in a waterway. We marked it, yet Mr. Osei allowed it to go. House B or Block B was in this. Community 18 Junction, where people were shopping for freezers and tissue and all those things. There's a structure there. It is on water.
In fact, that warehouse from which all of the items came out from, we understand, is seated on a waterway.
It is. I know that for a fact. I know. So who allowed it? Who allowed it? It's a simple question. It didn't come from you. It didn't come from me. It didn't come from any of them here. But, well, let me not just prejudge. But it didn't come from you. It didn't come from me. So who gave the authority? And it is very simple for you to just go back and check. Run a check and say that it was built in 19 this. It was built in 2020 this. It was this MCE or DCE who was in office. And this person gave the permit. Bring the person.
I'm not cutting you, but unfortunately, it looks like the only punitive measure that exists is a transfer.
Yes.
That's the only thing that exists. So when you sell lands which must not be sold, when you issue permits illegally,
yes,
the only punishment that exists is you'll be transferred.
No problem.
The building will be on the waterway, will come with its ramifications and everything.
When you are
everybody lives go on, you just be transferred.
My brother, first of all, you must be transferred. When you're transferred, you are demoted. After you have been demoted, whoever puts up that building or that building that is there ought to be demolished. We have to demolish that building. We have to demolish that structure to serve notice to all other people who intend to. But this is what happens. Oh, it is coming from Mr. Kwashi. Oh, he was the one who supported us during the campaign. He was the one who gave you his residence for you to go. Or he gave you his car to use at the time you were traveling. Or it is his boys who organized for you to be able to run. So that is what politics has reduced us to.
Right. I'm going to pick Crosby's thoughts, then I come to the rest of the panel just quickly. Crosby.
I'll be please, you can sit. I'll be very brief here. So I put together a few things, and this is where I'll start. So Patrice earlier laid a nice foundation and explained to us how much we have spent to fight flood successive governments. And it appears that the money, maybe they go somewhere else. So the first thing that I'll say is that build a ring fence around flood money. We know that because we are not learning, because we are not very proactive people, we will wait and let the floods happen. So the floods will happen and they will need to then begin to do things. So the money that has been allocated or budgeted for to do floods, ring fence it, do not touch it. So the money should not disappear into any form of infrastructure spending. That fund should be there to deal with floods, because again, we'll not learn to prevent it. It will only work when the floods happen. And then we should know amounts located for what purpose, which contractor is doing, the source of the funding, the location or the area where this particular action will be taking, and all of that. And make so that's one of the things I'll talk about. For every MCE, make them answer after the rings. So this morning we spoke to a few of them. Mm-hmm. So it should happen for all the other assemblies that have floods. You call this person, you come to whichever office you're going to, your area flooded, why? Oh, it's because of... So you know the problem. Why haven't you solved it? It's because this building is here. Why haven't you broken it down? Oh, it's
like we were hearing this morning.
Yes, it's for this person. We are working on it. Okay, I give you 2 weeks. Solve the problem. Else, you're leaving the office as an MC. That is a way that I think that we'll be able to solve the problem nicely. There are, in fact, the solutions there.
I'm not sure there's a lack of solutions in fairness.
That's the shopping mall. So
where River Jordan shopping mall.
And the last thing I want to talk about is, because we say that, oh, we need money. Okay, that conversation we'll talk about it later. But when it comes to demolitions and preventing buildings, we should do it by classification, not emotion. So classification as in whichever building is in this area should not be there. Not the type of building, not who owns the building, just if you have a property
which is sitting on a wetland, is sitting in a waterway.
20 million story building, it should go. Whether it is for the president, it's for the president's wife, it's for the minister. If that is where you find your building, Kwandia, it should go. So the demolition should be based on classification, not emotions. Then we can talk about the money bits that in the best for your host, I will not find solutions to.
Right, Crosby, thank you very much as well for that. I'm going to come in studio. Ibrahim Ali is a member of the NDC's communication team. So is Achulo Abdul Baki, as a member of the NPP's communications team as well. They've joined us in studio for this conversation, but it's a nationalistic conversation, one that we need to look at thoroughly. Right, in terms of everything that's played out. That's gas cylinders and all, right? People are lifting gas cylinders.
But Mawuena, you're not kind to me. You're not kind to me at all.
It's a gas.
You should have invited me to the mall.
Oh,
the River Jordan shopping mall to pick a few things.
Those are gas cylinders and all.
What?
And persons taken from there.
It is no fault of theirs. It is no fault of theirs. Yeah.
We are built to get a bit more as well from the GPRTU as well, because we know that a number of the buses went under, right? Were completely submerged by floodwaters. That immediately has repercussions on public transport.
Absolutely.
And all of that.
But GPRTU has not been pragmatic about their operations.
Oh, this one, if you want to blame them again, will that not be too much? Because they had packed their buses at the station and not moving in the floodwaters, and the entire place was submerged.
It's not just so. Find out where a lot of their bus stations are located.
Flood-prone areas?
Absolutely.
If they take the hand themselves.
GPRTU needs to meet the assemblies, speak to the ministries, so that they are giving a properly demarcated area for transport, because they are in public service.
Right. Let me come to the studio, Ibrahim, and then Abdul, quick thoughts, preliminary thoughts, right? Know anybody who was affected by the rains and everything that's been playing out in the last 24 hours has been very difficult, and we're expecting even more rains now. I'll start with you.
My brother, thank you very much. First of all, let me say a very good morning to our cherished listeners across the metropolis and Ghana in general. Honestly, what happened yesterday, to me, I will describe it as highly unprecedented. Taking aside what happened June 3, 2015, this is one of the serious flooding we have ever witnessed in the metropolis. When this whole thing it started raining, because I visited a friend, Kaswa, so I have to move from there as of yesterday coming. When I reached somewhere around High Sense, their Kaswa branch, in fact, the whole building was flooded. And these included a lot of goods packed in there. Come and see boys rushing and picking fridges, microwave, blenders, anything they can touch on. It took the intervention of the Ghana Police Service to storm the area to ensure that there's order. This is highly, highly unfortunate. And I think that if you want to talk, we'll continue talking every year until it takes someone to be very bold to take a very drastic, decision, regardless of political consequences or otherwise. I think that we should be bold to face this issue head on, and then avoid politicizing the whole thing. Because see, it is actually costing Ghana a lot of money. President Mahama yesterday announced that he will find means and ways to actually compensate those who were actually affected by these floods. But you ask yourself, the monies that will be used to compensate these people, don't you think it could have been channeled to my hometown, Sampa Road, that have not been tapped for close to over 2-3 decades that we have been appealing to the government? So, you see, it's better we drastically deal with this problem and find a long-term solution to the canker than to be dealing with it from the surfaces. The metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies, are they working? Are they working? That's the question I'm asking. Because from time immemorial, it appears they're just sitting in the offices doing nothing. That is your responsibility. If President Mahama, is actually talking that he would deal drastically with floods, you don't expect the president himself to be on the ground dealing with the issue. And that is why he appointed you to represent him. Do the job, make sure that you execute his vision. And so if you fail to do that and you just sit back and be collecting bribes like we are hearing and doing things untoward for your own selfish parochial interests, then you don't deserve to be in that office. You don't deserve to be in that office. So it is about time, regardless of the person's status in the party that actually gave him or her the appointment as a metropolitan, municipal, or district chief executive, we need to be bold enough to start firing some of them instead of transferring to serve as deterrent to others. We need to face the issue head on and deal with it mercilessly without any mercy. Yesterday I wept. The chaos all over. Circle here. People cannot go, people cannot come. This is something that has ever happened somewhere around June 3, 2015. And it appears that tragic incident has not given sent out any lesson. There were over 150 people who lost their lives somewhere around 2015. Is that what they want? They want it to continue. I think that President Mahama, if you give me the opportunity, I would just let you know the steps he is taking in dealing with this issue and the people he has tasked to deal with the matter. But the fact is, the person is not working as expected.
Right.
You need to fire the person.
Who is that person?
Achulo, I'm gonna Patrice, I'll come to you. I mean, this is gonna be all of us having the conversation. So Abdul,
Yes.
your preliminary comment as well in relation to what happened yesterday, and I mean, for viewers on Facebook, you'll be seeing some of the aerial views when the president was touring, and some parts in the aftermath of the flooding incident as well. Abdul.
Yes, my brother, thank you very much. You see, whenever we have conversations about flood, I get so much passionate and I get sentimental whenever we are having a conversation around some of these challenges we face as a country. Why do I do that? I get sentimental because I have been a victim of flood before. I remember some 5, 6, 7 years ago when we used to stay in Kaswa, just around Methodist School. When you get there, that was where I grew up. And whenever it rains, we have to leave our homes, go and stay in the school till the water washes away before we get back home and now collect the rest of the waters in the rooms before we can now settle down. So personally, I have encountered some of these things before. So whenever I see people politicize some of these conversations, I get so worried because I think it's a challenge that we all have to put our political lenses aside. We all have to make sure we have a broader conversation about some of these things and make sure whatever solutions we can profess to deal with some of these challenges, we do it. Just yesterday, allegedly, we've had a number of people dying due to some of these phenomena that is happening. I have heard where I stay
Fire
in
service
Kaswa,
was
Okrudu.
telling us 12.
Yes.
At least what they can count, 12.
Kaswa, the Okrudu gutter has killed allegedly 9 people. And I've stayed there before, so I'm not in doubt. I know what that Okrudu gutter specifically can do. Whoever stays in Kaswa knows what I'm talking about. So till when are we going to still have these conversations? I always tell some of my friends that, since this June 3rd disaster happened, as a country, we should have learned from some of these bitter challenges we faced and allow some of these things to propel us to have a lasting solutions to this problem. I get so worried and sad when we still have some of these conversations as of now. Because if you remember some years back in Rwanda when some of these major floods happened, their government took a pragmatic step to make sure they deal with that problem, which saw to a lot of buildings being decongested and making sure they create proper drainage system to resolve some of these issues drastically. So what are we doing as a government? What are we doing as a people? Collectively, we have a responsibility to play. First of all, let's establish that point, that as citizens, we have a responsibility to play. But that notwithstanding, I always argue strongly that the government has a major role to play. We cannot downplay the effort of the government.
Absolutely.
We cannot trivialize some of these conversations when they come up. What is the role of the government? What is the government doing? Today, we are complaining about people building houses at waterlogged areas. Before you can even build a house on a land you've purchased, you need a permit to build that house. If you don't get a permit and you put up that building, it's a criminal offense. So what are we doing? What are the right institutions doing to make sure we fix this problem? I get so sad whenever we come back here, because starting from January, we've been having these conversations times without number. And we are still having this conversation. What is the government doing? What are the pragmatic steps we are making sure we put in place to solve this challenge? The government somewhere last year, I remember in March, formed one of the anti-flood task force. What is the results of that committee? What are they doing? What have they put in place so far? Yesterday, we saw the president in an helicopter going around, supervising whatever is going on, and then getting some glimpse of what we are talking about. He has done same in March, if you remember, when he launched the task force. They did same and told us that they have seen the problems and they are going to fix the problem. So what is keeping them from making sure we deal with the problems? If taking a pragmatic step to deal with this problem will make the government unpopular, I believe they should go ahead and do it. And at the long run, the Ghanaian people will obviously appreciate whatsoever government that makes sure we put pragmatic steps to deal with this issue once and for all.
Right.
Because the people are suffering.
Right, Abdul, I'll come to you, and there are a number of comments I'm going to read in relation to the subject matter, but I'm going to go over the phone lines right now and speak to Samuel Apia. He's Deputy Public Relations Officer for the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, that's GPRTU, joining us on phone, Samuel Amwa. This morning. Ms. Amwa, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on 3FM Sunrise.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
I trust that all is well and your members are recovering following yesterday's floods.
Good morning to you once again and your cherished viewers and listeners. Yesterday's flood has affected our members seriously. And yes, some are recovering, some their vehicles are remain at shops. There are some vehicles that need to be towed by tow trucks, to send to their various workshops because most of the vehicles, the engine got damaged. Yesterday, some vehicles that fly Accra, Cape Coast, Accra, Mangasini areas. Some of them, the vehicles will load the passengers, and when they get to Kaswa, before Kaswa, they have to return back because there is no way they can cross, to send the passengers to their destinations. So yesterday was a very serious situation for most of our drivers, and I believe we have to find a best way to resolve these issues, else our business that we do is individuals that are, gone in for loans to buy vehicles to serve the nation. Government has not given us any vehicles. And when it happens like that, spare parts are very high. The cost is very high to buy. And when it happens like that, then it means that, most of our members are, jobless, are going to be jobless. Some are going to find it very difficult to fix their vehicles. So yesterday, it was a very difficult moment for our members.
In all, do we have an estimation as to the number of vehicles or the number of persons who may have been affected by the floods from the different stations across the capital?
Well, it will be very difficult for us to get an estimated number of vehicles that have been affected. But then, the leadership sent some delegation to go around, most of the stations to find out, how the situation is. We've gotten some, but to get, the estimated vehicles that have been affected will be very difficult on our side right now.
But you're going around to ascertain. I'm sure, as a union, you should be able to find out the number of vehicles or the number of drivers who've been affected and the persons who will be out of a job for a while. Just in case if there's some intervention, you can as well grant that.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. Our union, the national is one body descending to the regions, then descending to branch and locals. So all these levels have their executives that manage, the branch and the local. So we have sent a delegation to go around both the branches down to the locals. There are many. Even in Greater Accra, we are having about 400 and almost 500 branches in Greater Accra. So we are doing that. I believe that before the close of the day, we'll get the data of members that we think need some serious help, to be given to them. So we are doing that.
Now, in terms of what has played out, what does this mean as well going forward for the availability of buses on the road for the ordinary person who relies on your members to commute to work and back?
Yes. This morning, as I was driving from Tema down to Accra to the office, you see a lot of commuters, being stranded, not getting vehicles to their workplaces, and it's very, very difficult. I said earlier that, yes, the government, has given us some promise that they are going to help us with some buses. But as I'm speaking to you, we've not seen that. Yes, they gave some to Ayalolo. Metro Mass. We think that maybe they will be in town, but yes, we don't actually see them. But what we are saying right now is the private sector needs a serious help from the government, because all the vehicles that we have is coming from individuals. Some has gone in for loans, that are loans with very high interest. And if, we are going through this kind of problems and government will also set without coming to our aid, it will be very, very difficult on our side. Because when the problem comes, they will not blame government, they will blame the GPRTU. Because they will be asking, what is GPRTU doing? Passengers are stranded. Well, how are we going to, take them to their various destinations? And forgetting that it's an individual that has, gone in for loans and buy vehicles to serve the nation and all that. So we are pleading with the government in this situation. The private sector, GPRTU, needs serious help from the government. The promise that they gave us, they should, fulfill the promise so that we can have enough vehicles, strong vehicles to convey our commuters to and fro.
So GPRTU now is asking for external assistance so that we can meet the passenger numbers which are on the road, awaiting us to be able to move.
Yes, seriously, because even before this flood issue, we were having problems with some number of vehicles that are being remain at various workshops because of a high cost of spare parts and all that. We used to say this, and this flood has also, damaged more vehicles and is going to, cause commuters not to get vehicles to their destination. So we are pleading with the government as early as possible to come to our aid, to give us some more vehicles to help save the nation from these passengers getting stranded.
Just finally from me, in terms of how long you can return to full capacity as to your members and all of that, because we know water has entered engines and they will need to drain the water. In terms of all of the works and when possibly you can see vehicles, if support were to come, you can see vehicles fixed. How long would it take to have all of these issues addressed for members and the likes?
It will be quite difficult. The reason being that, you see, whenever these issues happen, there are, affected people that normally the government will come in to support them. NADMO will go in to support some people and all that. But let's ask if government will also assist drivers that have, been affected by all these challenges and problems. As I'm speaking to you, if one's engine got damaged, then it means that that person has to go for a loan to buy engine and all that. So we are working on it. We are trying what the union can also do to support, we do that. But there are some that will be beyond our capacity. So we still plead with the government.
But what about insurance? Are the vehicles not insured?
The vehicles, it's not all the vehicles that are comprehensively insured. Some are third party, and most of our vehicles are going in for third party insurance premium. And the third party insurance premium doesn't cover the vehicle in terms of some certain things like this. But if luckily the vehicle is being insured with a comprehensive insurance, then it means that the insurance will come in. But those that have gone in for third party, it will be very, very difficult. Then it means that they have to find the best way to get some money to fix their vehicle.
Right. Ms. Amwa, we'll leave it here. I'm sure we'll talk again, and then we'll get a bit more. That's Samuel Amwa, is Deputy PRO of the GPRTU. I'm going to just read two more comments as well in relation to this particular subject matter. And then I will come back in studio and pick thoughts as to what that means. There's someone who is asking, this one I'll keep it hidden. It's a question about waste management, right? So it's a bit lengthy, but it says, what is our waste management system like in this country, particularly Accra? Case in point, a large household has paid a recognized refuse company to lift its refuse once a week. The company in this rainy season says it cannot lift because the dumping site cannot be accessed because of bad roads. What will that household do now? It's a question.
Yeah.
Then the other part of the message is that some households have now been forced to call the local aboboya to do the lifting because that household cannot live with the refuse.
Right.
Now the question is, do we know where the aboboyas dump the refuse they have picked?
I do.
So even if you set out to do the right thing, the system is set to bring you back to the wrong thing, because the aboboyas go and dump anywhere that they can, which is one of the things, which ends up in our drains.
Yes.
You were talking about a sea of refuse.
No, please. I said they were a group. They were a group of people, like an assembly. No, I don't.
You understand? So that's just one message that's come through in relation to waste disposal.
Yes. It all boils down to the assemblies. It is the role of the assembly to ensure that every municipality, every metropolis, every district has a particular place where residents can dump refuse. But you see, we track it back to our use of items. So plastics. Are we supposed to continue using plastics? Otherwise, what it is that what we used to call the incinerator back in the day, where you put everything, it was paper, and then paper and leaves. That is falling leaves, dried leaves from plants, and then you would burn them. But my point is this. There are so many things we are using now that we're not supposed to. The cans and the plastics are things that we have to eliminate. Because back in the day, it was paper and bottles. And bottles, we can crash them, recycle them, and use them for something good. Exactly.
Now the polythene bags and all of that.
So you see, when we track back, you see that there are lots of things that we need not encourage. Otherwise, these are the things that we'll be battling with. It all boils down to the assembly. The assemblies work hand in hand with the EPA. People are swimming in this water. When you come to Gulf City, and this is something that I have spoken to the MCE about, people discharge their waste the moment it starts raining. They connect a pump to their, waste line, and then they just put human extra on the streets. They pump it out from their homes onto the streets because they think that the rainwater is going to carry it away. Little do they know that the water will dry up somewhere, the sun will come, the wind will blow that thing, you'll be walking and you breathe it in. Now you'll be suffering from certain diseases and ailments that, look, the assembly has a very huge role to play, but we downplay it. Because what do? Every political party will carry its members and put them in the assemblies. And these are not qualified people to work at the assemblies, because they are the boys who helped you to win the elections. So pack these people there at the assemblies. So the blame goes back to the same NDC and MPP boys and girls, because these are the people they put there. So these people don't understand anything. With all due respect, look, when you don't have exposure, there are certain decisions that you can't take. When you don't have exposure, there are certain things you can't take. When you're not educated about something, you can't take decisions based on those things.
Right.
So what it is that there are so many people we have in the assemblies who are not cut to be in these assemblies. So when they bypass and they see squatters, maybe they are also squatters. So what do they care about squatters? You get it?
Fair enough. Let me come to Ibrahim and then I'll go to Abdullah as well. Ibrahim, on that message on waste, before perhaps you also chip in on the transport. You mentioned a sacking possibly of some of the persons who've not been up to task. Why are we not seeing that from your persons? Because, you're in government.
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. To be very honest with you, I believe that to deal with this issue, we have to look at it and deal with it drastically, from the very drastic point of view, regardless of the political consequences. Because honestly, I know that if we decide to deal with it ruthlessly, it's going to cost, this particular, government. But the way things are going, it's better it will cost us election 2028 than to, just relax and allow things to go the way they are going. We can also not rule out accountability if you want to deal drastically with the issue. Because previously, whether NPP or NDC administration, a lot of monies were pumped to deal with the issue of flooding in Accra. Let me even single out, President Akufo-Addo's era when he was president. In fact, he spent hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis and US dollars on flood mitigation. Yet perennial flooding remains a severe structural issue in Accra, to the extent that look at what happened yesterday. You get it? So I think that we should start asking serious questions. For example, like the 450 million domestic, 450 million that was used between 2017 and 2022 when Akufo-Addo was president to deal with the issue. What was it able to do? And how did we benefit from that 450 million Ghana cedis? The Gary project, $200 million. We spend this and still nothing appears to, be done. We spent close to $42 million on the Odo River dredging, contract and all that. All these monies, I can list them. Where are these monies? So it's about time, first of all, to start asking questions. Those who are in charge, let us, punish them to serve as deterrent to the current occupants of these offices who are occupying or who actually replace them. But if you don't seek accountability, there's no way we'll make any headway. Everyone will just come, the money come, the person chop and go. We should let people be accountable. When we are done, we should go straight to the assemblies. I have already said on several occasions that it appears that the whole place is corrupt, because I've seen a couple of instances where bribery monies have been exchanging hands. If you want to something to be done in the assembly, what you have to do is to just see someone for the person to see the other, and straight away it will be done for you. And that is why we have gotten ourselves to this place. Action is really taken until a catastrophic flood occurs, after which official issue reactive demolition orders that are really sustained. So let us find out those who are there, taking bribes. How can we catch them? What supervisory role should the Ministry for Local Government actually play in ensuring that we actually kick out the bad nuts? Property developers regularly bribe assembly officials to acquire permits or protect unauthorized projects from being demolished. From big men, those with the money, the politicians, the chiefs, those with big cash. I mean, we should start it from there. And our attitude as Ghanaian can also not be ruled out. Our attitude. We keep blaming the politicians, we keep blaming our leaders, but our attitude as Ghanaians, I mean, how patriotic are we in contributing, trying to avoid this? I know people I'm a woman around my area. Anytime Bola people come around, she doesn't, bring her Bola out. Because deep in the night, while people are asleep, you see her, carrying the Bola, find somewhere else in the bush and drop them. And when it rains, it just flash these, bolas and then chalk gutters. What measures are we putting in place in ensuring that some of these people are dealt with? Last week, I was somewhere around Odoko, thereabout. A woman, after eating kenke inside the car with polythene bag, wrap it and decided to actually, drop it down. And people were in the car. I was so furious that I got there and then confronted the woman. I was the only one. Everyone was silent. I ended up becoming the bad person because I was confronting and questioning the woman why she did that. And she was verbally attacking me. Our attitude as Ghanaians, our attitude also contributes immensely. So it's about 50-50. Politicians have a role to play, and we, the citizens, also have roles to play. And the issue about political will should also be there. If politically we are not willing to deal it, it will all be gimmick. We only, decide to react instead of being proactive. And what we have been seeing all these years are reactive measures, which are temporary measures. If you want to deal with the problem head on, we have to be very proactive, be innovative. When you go to other, countries, Netherlands, for example, was actually noted as one of the countries in the world that had serious issues with flooding. Today, they are the leading, one of the leading countries across the world when it comes to management of our floods. We can learn from them. How did they do it? What measures was put in place? They should give us their power. We should do something about this situation. It's sickening. It is so sickening. And when I decide to talk about it, I become so emotional. What's happening? For how long should this continue? Successive government comes, they go, they come, they go, they come, they go. When monies are given out for people to use in dealing with the issue, it ends up under people's beds and all that. What are we doing as a nation to tackle this issue, regardless of politics and all that, head on? So I am calling on President John Dramani Mahama to, as a matter of urgency, if our president wants to put some fear in the current occupants of these same, offices where all these monies were spent, but nothing significant is seen, he should start, calling them. Investigations should start. They should produce those money, because I don't know why we should spend these huge monies that could help in development, ending up in purple packets, and we stay quiet as if there's nothing, wrong with that.
Right.
We should be proactive and stop the reactive measures in dealing with this issue.
Abdul, let me come to you as well on the same question and the way forward in terms of what it is. Ibrahim seems to suggest the government ought to crack the whip, ought to have cracked it by now. And there's a general consensus of a bit of tiredness as well.
Yes, which is very important. I think my brother in his submission said we shouldn't politicize this conversation, which is very, very important. Regardless the fact that they did when they were in opposition, I don't think that is the stance of our party now. If you were privy to the post our flag bearer made, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, was to solidarize with those who are affected and also urge the government institutions to beef up and make sure they protect the citizens. And that is clear statesmanship. That is pure patriotism. Now, this whole conversation we are having, I think with regards to these flood issues, is a very broad conversation. You told us and profess solutions to the Ghanaian people when you were in opposition. If you go to their manifesto, they are laid down pragmatic steps they are going to take to make sure they fix this problem. Today, let's establish the fact that as citizens, we all have a responsibility to play when it comes to these flood issues we are talking about. But that notwithstanding, the major responsibility lies within the bosom of the government. My brother is seated here, saying he knows people who are taking bribes and then giving permit to people to put up buildings at where they're not supposed to put up those buildings. What has he done about it? I think this is the time we have to rise up as citizens. This is the time we have to make sure we put the government on its toes. This is the right time we have to look the government in the face and tell them that fix the problem. We are tired of the complaints. We are tired of keeping on telling us what the problems are. We are aware of it, and we know they were aware of the problems. And that is why they profess solutions in their manifesto, which the Ghanaian people believe so much in them and gave them a supermajority. So what are they doing? What are the solutions? They shouldn't come and be telling us the problems we are facing currently. Who doesn't know? Who's not aware of it? Who's not facing it? I was leaving my house yesterday to Parliament to work. We got to barrier, we couldn't proceed. We couldn't even go back just because of this canker we are facing. And we saw a communique coming from the Interior Minister saying we should return home, or whoever has not left home should stay home. Yes, it's a good, and then it's a good initiative. You have to comment. But the truth of the matter, my brother, the reality on grounds is that the home you are saying we should stay, the floods have raided people's homes. Where are they going to stay again? People are staying on top of their roofs to seek for shelter. So what are we doing about this? Today, when it's about to rain, 70% of our Ghanaian people become worried because they will not have a proper place, they won't have shelter, they won't have a proper place to sleep. And that is concerning. And as a government, these are things we should be thinking about, and these are some of the things that should fuel us up to make sure we deal with this problem. Today, we don't want to see them going around with rice, bag of oils and all that. Fix the problem. Prevent the people from facing some of these challenges. Yes, I'm not saying this flood issue just happened within this current administration, and I'm not saying it's going to be an occasion to deal with this problem. No, it's going to take a gradual and a pragmatic process to deal with this. But that notwithstanding, we have been able to manage it a bit okay. And that is why, under our administration, regardless the fact that there were some of these floods we cannot run away from, but sometimes you see how it's being managed. So what are we doing as a country? What is the government also doing? This is the second time the president is sitting in a helicopter, parading in the air, doing documentaries and telling us and taking videos and sharing it. We have seen it. We have witnessed it. People have been electrocuted. People are dead. People have lost their lives. People are crying. People are weeping. People have lost their shelters. Today, it will surprise you to know. You see, some of these major investors we are having in this country, my brother, if you go to some of these waterlogged areas, you find out they purchasing some of these lands, getting gravels and stone, and filling it up to put up their buildings over there. Who gave them the permit to do that? Who gave them the permit to do that? As a government, we cannot stop them because they have made certain commitment to us when we were in opposition, when we were campaigning. They have pledged certain commitment. And for that matter, we cannot stop them. And that is the problem. The system is weak. We cannot run away from that. You asked a brilliant question. You read a post, I don't know whether somebody sent to you.
It was a comment someone said.
Yes. So today, if I'm seated in my home, I give my refuse down to some of these tricycle people who are now going around making sure they collect some of these refuse and go and dump it in some of these water bodies. How am I to be blamed? I have done the right thing. But at the long run, what is the impact? The regional minister tells us that she has tackled the flooding issue in this region. And the results we are seeing on grounds is telling us that, Madam Minister, you've not done anything. You've not tackled anything.
Oh, she mentioned that, right?
Yes, in defense of her award, a so-called award. She says she has tackled the flooding issue in this country. And is that what we are seeing?
Oh, wow.
Is that what we are seeing? Is that the results? You find her in some of these water bodies, they're holding their hand like a last born. But all I want to say, and I want to conclude, is that let's have a broader stakeholder engagement. The complaints are way too many. The repetition of what the problems are, I think we are fed up with them. Now it's time for solution. Let's come together, and as citizens, as Ghanaian people, we should also bear in mind that when government is going to make sure we fix this problem, some of us, majority of us, are going to be affected. Let's bear in mind that, let's all admit that some of these challenges will definitely cause pain to some of our people, will cause agony to some of the Ghanaian people. Let's take this bold decision once and for all. Let's hold the bull by the horn and make sure we solve the problems once and for all.
Just give me 30 seconds.
Right, Mawuena here.
Oh, no, just 30 seconds.
No, I'm Mawuena, not Crosby.
Mawuena. Oh, sorry. Forgive me.
Yes, I wanted to go into the phone lines, but 30 seconds.
I will not be long. See, I thought we are actually discussing this issue from nationalistic point of view. On this platform, we'll be patriotic and deal with this issue as one people, one nation. But my brother is jumping the gun by politicizing these sensitive matters.
How?
I'm shocked.
How do you do that?
You are claiming that we should fix the problem and it's our responsibility to fix the problem. We give you 8 good years.
No, now we are getting...
We've given you the power. My brother. We gave you 8 good years. So if you had the ability to have fixed this problem for 8 years now. Oh, I'm coming. Just a moment.
No, yeah, I'm having you finish.
For 8 years now, we would have seen this problem repeating itself. So you don't have any moral right. Tell us, the 450 million Ghana cedis you actually took, what did you use it for? And we are still having the same issue again. The $200 million you took from, a garage project. What have you used the money for? The $42 million.
Fair.
What have you used it? So please.
These questions are fair.
We should deal with the issue from a very nationalistic point of view. But if you want to have people
nobody's going to
put
politicize
pressure on this government to do that, it shouldn't be the MPP.
That's fair
Give me an opportunity.
I'm going on to the phone lines now.
Some of the things
NS Frimpong is a chief executive officer of Bedrock Insurance Limited. I mentioned that there were a number of strands we were going to seek to look at in terms of the conversation, particularly also I think we were asking about insurance of the vehicles, and we're being told they are only third party. What about business owners, shops, and what have you, and what the insurance market is going to look like in terms of claims. Mr. Frimpong, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on the 3FM Sunrise.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
I appreciate your patience as well for holding the line, because you joined a while back whilst Abdul was making his submission. But in the aftermath of a natural disaster, if we can call it that, like this, where claims will be coming through and what have you, what is the mechanism which is expected to be put in place by insurance groups, insurance institutions, to help persons recover quickly from the losses they've suffered as a result of the rain?
Yeah, very good morning to you and your listeners. And thank you very much for the question. So basically, we as an insurance industry, basically, we provide insurance for individuals and businesses to be able to cover issues or situations such as this. And therefore, if there is anybody that has an insurance policy, the person would be compensated accordingly, adequately, for them to come back to their feet. In terms of industry response, I believe that the National Insurance Commission, together with the Ghana Insurance Association, and then also the Insurance Brokers Association of Ghana, may be discussing what we as an industry can do. So that one, I may not be able to speak to that. But what I can say is that if there's anybody that has insurance policy, adequately will respond to the loss that has happened.
If anybody has insurance, you're able to respond to it and deal with it frontally. Starting off from the transport operators, right? A lot of them tend to favor third-party insurance, which means all of the vehicles which have been submerged and what have you, they most likely will not get the full cost to get an engine, for instance, or anything. Is there an understanding as to why that plays out a lot within the transport sector? Because now it looks like that choice of an insurance policy is not going to be beneficial to them at this point.
Exactly. And that is what we have been trying to educate the insurance public or the general public about the need to upgrade from just the mandatory third-party motor insurance policy to comprehensive motor insurance policies. Because, like you rightly said, when you have a third-party policy or third-party fire and theft policy, then it would not cover situations such as this for your vehicle. And therefore, those that have comprehensive insurance, they will be able to get some compensation. The reason is simple, that most of the insured are do the third party just to fulfill all righteousness or just to fulfill the mandatory requirements of having insurance before you put the vehicle on the road. They are not looking at the entire risk that they face in terms of using the vehicle or even parking the vehicle. So I think we need to be able to educate ourselves to know that insurance is not just about being able to do the insurance to be able to satisfy the law that you have the insurance, but also being able to have the adequate cover so that in situations like this, then you will be covered. So I think it's just, and then also some of them may be looking at the cost. But if you look at the exposure in terms of what comprehensive insurance covers, such as the flood risk and all the other risks that your vehicle is exposed to, including the theft and fire, then you would be inclined or you would be advised to then upgrade it and go for comprehensive policy and not just look at just the third party premium that is much cheaper than the comprehensive.
And I mean, obviously it comes with a bit more cost as well, right? The comprehensive comes at a higher cost. Is there an attempt, right, within the society to begin to work? And no, I'm not speaking just in relation to vehicles. I'm talking about persons owning small shops and what have you, being able to access insurance products for which reason they can fall on in times like these. That appears to be missing as well. It almost comes off as we don't have Ghana-centered products to meet the sort of trends and demands that we operate. So if it's not a big, large firm, if it's not comprehensive, then we are just trying to, in the case of third party, fulfill all righteousness like you stated. It's looking like we're seeming to lack what is more reflective policies towards practices in the country.
Yes, thank you very much for the question. We do have enough policies. We have tailor-made policies that are specific to the needs of all clients. People need to contact the insurance agent or insurance brokers or even insurance companies themselves, and they will be happy to arrange policies that suit their needs. You see, insurance, so for example, if you look at even the standard fire policy, normally that is what it's extended to cover the flood and other perils or risks. So you have the standard fire policy, covers just the accidental fire outbreak, lightning, and then domestic explosion. But it's extended to cover a number of risks, including flood, that you would have to pay just more to cover the flood option. So you don't need to have all the risk in the world in the policy for you to pay a lot. So just a little bit of premium, you'll be able to have all the risk or the cover that you need. Just have to talk to the insurance company or the broker or agent to explain what is your need, and they'll be able to arrange tailor-made policies at a minimum rate that you'll be surprised that we do cover. So if you look at the exposure that we have, the premiums that we collect as an industry in Ghana is very, very small. And therefore, I will be surprised that I think the people don't know. So they think that it will be expensive. But when you approach a broker, insurance agent, or even insurance company, you would be surprised to know that the premium that you pay for all the risks that you'll be covered is very, very small.
Right. Just quickly on claims, right? Because we've seen what has happened. The claims will be coming in thick and fast. How quickly are you availing yourself to settle these claims so that it doesn't now become a long haul for persons who are already devastated by the floods?
Yes, insurance companies, we are very, very much ready. But you see, we are operating what we call the no premium, no cover regime. So just to be sure, Secretary, you will notify your insurance company you'll be given a claim form to complete, and then you submit all the required documents to the insurance company, and they will be glad to give you the necessary assistance to be able to file the claim, and then within record time pay your claims. As insurance companies, once you report the claim to us, we acknowledge receipt and we give you the claim form within 2 days, and we do the investigation. Once you submit all your documents, within 5 working days, you are supposed to determine liability or not, and then inform you. And then once that is done, then for motor, within 2 days, we'll have to give you discharge voucher, that is the claim amount, and then for non-motor, we would give you the discharge voucher within 3 days. And then once you return the discharge voucher, that is explaining the amount that we want to pay you, and once you accept, then within 5 working days, we'll give you your check or your payment, whichever form you want us to pay. But all things being equal, within 4 weeks, once you submit all the documents in support of your claim, we should be able to pay you the claim within 4 weeks, unless there are other circumstances when the claim is complex. Even that one, we need to explain to you why there is the need for us to go beyond the 4 weeks. But all things being equal, within 4 weeks, you should get your claim.
Final question that's just come through. For you in the insurance industry, what are periods like this like for you? Because it most certainly could be a difficult moment where your offices could be swamped and all of that. How do you find periods like this, just briefly, so I can go on this break?
Yes. So the period like this, or a period like this, goes to demonstrate or show the value or the essence of insurance. So if that is the reason why we exist, and this times like this are why insurance companies are there. So even though we will be inundated with a lot of claims, but that is what we live for. And we are happy at times like this to be able to pay the claims that are needed for people to get back to their feet, for businesses to get back to their feet, so that the economy or the nation can continue on the path of growth and development. So that is why we are there. So even though a lot of claims will be coming, but this is why we are there. And therefore, we are not perturbed by the number of claims that will come to us. Indeed, as insurance companies, we also have reinsurance covers that we do arrange. Because when we get the premiums, we don't keep everything to ourselves as insurance companies. We also share some with what we call reinsurance companies. And at times like this, they also come to support the insurance company to settle all claims that will come. So there's not a problem at all. And we are capable, we have the liquidity and the financial strength to be able to settle all claims that will come out of this flooding situation.
Mr. Frimpong, I appreciate you for joining us. That's Ernest Frimpong. He's the CEO of Bedrock Insurance Limited, joining us this morning as well on the phone lines. I appreciate you and thank you very much. I'm just going to take this quick break, right? It's a final break. And then when I come, I'll pick final thoughts from you so that we can take the show home. This is the 3FM Sunrise. Please stay with us.
When malaria strikes your home, it's
I'm going to pick final thoughts quickly. I'll start with Abdul this time round before I come to Ibrahim. Quickly on, because today we've been talking floods all through. It's a huge thing, and so we've not been able to discuss any other matter because this is the most important thing right now. And so final comments from you, Abdul, in terms of
3FM
action,
92.7.
something that we should see in that regard.
Yes, I think when we're about to go for the break, you gave my brother the opportunity and then you tried his best to remind us of certain things that
we don't want to.
I think yes, we don't go there. We won't go there. That's just real quick.
Patriotic for once.
All I want to tell him is that whatever has happened in the past is in the past. We are in the present. We are no more living in the past. Let's make sure we deal with this issue once and for all. Let's have a broader stakeholder engagement. Let's engage all relevant bodies and make sure the relevant institutions that are mandated, that are legally given the mandate to make sure we deal with these issues, making sure people do not build at waterlands, do not build in waterways, making sure that people who dump refuse in gutters, like he rightly said, there's a woman in this area, report them to the rightful authorities so that a strong precedent to be set that tomorrow, if I get up from the comfort of my home and go and dump refuse into the gutter, there are severe punishment that I'm going to face. Absolutely. We have sanitation laws. Let's enforce them. This is the time. Just because of political favor and vote, we've refused to make sure we deal with some of these issues. Whatever we are talking about, they are laid down legal laws and rules to deal with them. The only thing we have to do is the political will and the commitment of this government to make sure they enforce whatsoever laws that have been set to make sure we handle and then deal with this issue. And as the president promised us to make sure he deal with the flood issues when he was in opposition, when you look at their manifesto, it shouldn't just be a pie in the sky. They should make sure they execute it. That's all we have for them.
Right, that's Achulo Abdul Baki. He's a member of the NPP's communications team. Ibrahim, I'll come to you. Quick final thoughts as well.
Okay, Abdul, I will listen. I think I agree with you. You messed up. So what is in the past is in the past. Let's look at the present. This is not politics.
If you say he messes up, I mean, then he'll be forced to. But you proceed. Proceed so that
present.
Proceed so that we can.
So President Mahama is taking drastic measures to deal with the issue. We are barely 2 years in office. And so I believe that the steps we have taken so far will yield results. But in the coming days, if these steps, no significant progress is being made, I'm sure the president will review further steps and ensure that the right thing is done. For example, the president established an anti-flood task force. We'll look at the work they have done so far, whether it's contributing enough in dealing with this issue, as to whether to sustain or to just, annul, they will know what to do. We also look at ways of dealing with the district assemblies and ensuring accountability in all the municipal. President Mahama has already directed. I mean, we will have to make a follow-up and ensure that they are on track. If they are not, we'll look at means and ways to punish some people, boot some out and bring the new ones who love Mother Ghana and are patriotic, so that together we can all be safe as a country.
Absolutely. That's Ibrahim Ali as well. He's a member of the NDC's communications team. Patrice is still in studio with me. I'm sure we'll be back here tomorrow. We'll talk about this again as well. But just quick final words from you as well as we. Then I do birthdays and then.
Oh, okay. So for this,
a number of birthdays have come.
I don't believe Mr. President is willing and ready to crack the whip. Otherwise, he would have made that statement. I don't believe in what the Minister of Local Government decided to put up a few days ago, or weeks ago, when he was instructing people who is responsible for his You don't need to ask all these things. You have reports right in front of you, and you know what to do. I think this thing goes to tell us that municipal assemblies, district assemblies, they are all weak. They are all weak, and perhaps they are being headed by weak people. Because if the assembly is not weak, you would not see people living close by storm drains, people living close by gutters, people living close by water bodies, and they are within 20 meters, 10 meters, 50 meters. It has to be 100 meters. Now, ECG, who supplies these people with power? You see ECG polls there, as we can see on the screen right now. So who extended the polls to these people? Because you can see clearly that they are squatters. Who did that? Who gives them water? Ghana Water Company. So we talk about all these things.
I'm not sure this place Ghana Water reaches.
Well, they will be shocked.
Because there are communities who don't have Ghana Water Extension. Then
my warning to people out there is that
3FM Sunrise.
be mindful where you buy food outside. If you're buying food for the restaurants or chop bars or anything, know where you're going to buy food, because this is the time that there could be a potential cholera outbreak, because you don't know where these people get their water or source their water from to prepare the foods that they're preparing. You don't know what water has contaminated somebody's foodstuffs. So when you're going to buy food, be careful where you go.
Thank you, Patrice. Birthdays quickly.
3FM Sunrise.
Oh, and it's the birthday of our very own Grace Hamwa Ajiman. Happy birthday to you. As a name Johnny Hughes has for Grace, also for Ediani. The one and only, the ever beautiful, the ever loving Grace Hamwa Ajiman. Mrs. Hajiman. Mrs. Hajiman. Happy birthday from all of us here at 3FM, TV3, entire media general family. We say we love and cherish you greatly. In the words of Johnny Hughes, also Wediani. Happy birthday to you, Grace. Because of you, Phil has changed the song. They have changed the song for you. To you. So a fantastic birthday to Grace from all of us. Also, this one says, belated happy 10th to Purpose Driven Chum Boavo. Wait, is that the name? Yes. The name is Purpose Driven.
Chum Boavo Chum. He is one of 7 small human beings in my life.
One of one. The name is Purpose Driven Chum Boavo Chum. Yeah. What a name. Yesterday was his 10th birthday. Yeah, but yesterday we were ranting, so we couldn't. Oh, Chum, forgive us. But happy birthday to you from your uncle, Noble, and all of your siblings. Uncle Noble. Yeah, that's what we are talking about. Uncle Noble. Yeah. Also, to the wife of my youth, MC Kweno Zoranu, thank you for being an amazing wife and partner. I love you deeply, and I look forward to celebrating many more birthdays together. This one is from Kenneth Zoranu. Happy birthday. Our husbands are showing love. They're showing love. Loves her deeply. Also, happy birthday to the Honorable Sarah Mpedo, who is the District Chief Executive of Angloga. God bless your new age. Wishing you good health, long life as well from Justice and Edem. And the final one to Opoku Prince. Cheers to greatness, new beginnings and possibilities from your friend Samson as well. Can we see Opoku Prince just before I run out of the studio? There are 2 more, right? So there is Opoku Prince. Apologies about that. Just a bit of a technical difficulty. And the last one is to Jason Ajaya Dufo. Okay, so that's Opoku Prince. Happy birthday to you, Prince Opoku. Cheers to greatness, new beginnings, and possibilities from your friend Samson. The final one is Jason Ajaya Dufo. May your big heart and bright smile keep lighting up the family and the world.